McAfee, the freshman kicker for the Mountaineers, has got it teed up. Back deep, Steve Gregory and Kareem Jones. Here we go. Jones dropped it at the 1, found the handle, and almost found the 20-yard line. In fact, he did. So that's where Syracuse will go to work. The Orange will bring out that offense that Bob talked about with number 10. Big fella, 6'4". They list him at 249. I think Perry's a little bit lighter than he used to be. He had a couple of knee surgeries in one season, but that 1851 in yardage, second best ever for a sophomore last year. As Bob said, very experienced. His teammates say he is the leader of the team.
And no question, that was in a different offense last year. And I was watching him at practice the other day. He threw the ball very, very well.
Empty backfield to open. How about that for the West Coast offensive look? Patterson's first throw to Damian Rhodes, his tailback, and he's got it out across the 25 to the 26-yard line. There's the guy to watch, number 1. As we take a look at our Dr. Pepper starting lineups, here's the big eaters up front. Falky, Green, Outen, Franklin, and Ojanaka. Good experience on that offensive wall. Rhodes the tailback behind McDonald, the fullback. Kabaleski, the tight end. Lane and Moss, they might as well be brand new too, because they don't have any catches between them either.
If there is a weakness on this team, it's the wide receivers. There is nobody that has caught very many passes.
Here's Rhodes on the carry now, and got to the line of scrimmage. Might have eked out a yard or so against a tough Mountaineer defense. And here's how it looks. Up front defensively, it's basically the defense for West Virginia is a 3-3-5, and we'll show you that in just a minute. It's a third down and a very important yard. Opening drive for the Orange, and it looks like they're having trouble communicating. It's coming from new offensive coordinator Brian Periani up in the booth, down to Major Applewhite, the quarterback coach, and then out to the field. Let's see if they can pick up a yard on third down. Look out, Perry. Whoa. Dropped way back at the 16-yard line. Eric Wicks came on a safety blitz, and there was nobody there to pick him up.
Little indecision as to the play, and when that happens, when the play gets in late or there's indecision, then there's a little indecision on the play calling by the quarterback, thinking more about the play and less about what do I have to do, looking for that blitzing linebacker or safety when I turn around.
Brendan Carney, the punter, in at his own 5-yard line. Dual backs, Rivers and Lewis, waiting on the kick. Carney had all kinds of trouble with blocked punts last year. He's a long strider. They know that, but he got this one away in a hurry. Running catch at the 45 and across midfield and inside the 40. Vaughn Rivers, but there's a flag down in the Syracuse backfield. And here's the call. Sandy Smith running into the kicker is the call. And he's getting an earful from Rich Rodriguez. They know that he had a lot of punts blocked last year and went under one of those lanky legs, and down he went.
They'll call this every time because it's the kicker is on his 1 foot. He maybe didn't hit him that bad, but he went under and took his one leg out that he was standing on. The referee will call that every time.
So that's a first down, first mistake. And West Virginia, one of the biggest problems they've had in the last 2 years, penalties. They killed them a lot of times last year.
They were last in the conference last year in penalties. Most penalized.
Several games with over 100 yards in walk-offs. This one walks it off for Syracuse out to the 35-yard line. Patterson straight drop. Comes out in the flat, complete to Rice Moss. Moss met head on and striving to try to get a first down. He might have gotten it. Boy, nice lean by Rice Moss, the 6'2 sophomore out of North Bethesda, Maryland. Moss, who had all of 4 catches last year. Lane didn't catch any balls. You'll see number 12 get his first catch of this season.
Inside receiver's going to come down and break to the outside. West Virginia's in a zone, so Patterson just looks down, sees the inside man is covered, throws it outside.
Got 9 yards. Second down and a yard. Maybe a blitz coming from the corner. Here it comes, and Rhodes ran right into it. Boy, it's Eric Wicks again. Is he causing some mayhem here in the first quarter? Wicks only had 14 tackles all of last year, and he's got 2 big hits for loss, 7 yards that time, 10 on the hit on the quarterback.
the defensive coordinator, Jeff Castile, he said, you know, we're not sure what we're going to get from the Orange. And so what he's done has been aggressive. He's blitzed off the corner, linebackers, safeties. He's been aggressive getting into the backfield of Syracuse.
J.J. Beadle joins the receiver core for Syracuse. He's down to the bottom left corner of your screen. On third down and long, Patterson with time. Fires out, Lane, tough catch. But he can't get to the first down marker. He has excellent hands. We saw that at practice the other day, and he snared that one, but he ran out of real estate.
And because the pass was thrown so high, it didn't allow him a chance to get the ball and get up the field. He may have had a chance to get a first down.
So now it brings out the punter, Carney, who was run into last time. We mentioned his problem with block kicks last year. I don't want to blame Brendan completely for that, because they used to have that spread and shield thing.
Oh, yes.
That we hate, Bob and I, and Lynn.
Where the linemen up front would spread out about 5 yards apart. Whew.
They're still thinking about coming after him, regardless of the fact that it's more of a normal-looking punt formation this season. Oh, and he got away a dandy. They're going to let it go, and it goes all the way and takes a bounce at the 1 yard line and goes in the end zone. So that'll bring West Virginia out offensively for the first time to the 20 yard line. So no score. Syracuse had an opportunity, courtesy of that penalty, to get something going, and they were forced to kick it away again. So now we'll see a brand new quarterback for West Virginia. Adam Bednarik, the sophomore out of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Second cousin to Chuck Bednarik, the last two-way player, at least, that played every snap in the National Football League. And we'll see how Adam does. Sophomore, taking his first big appearance here in a Big East game in the Carrier Dome that's already noisy. And he's going to work from the spread, the shotgun. West Virginia, we won't see them huddle much, if ever. He fakes it and rolls to his right, being chased, and he's going to keep it all the way. And whoa, did he take a lick? But he got a first down at a pickup of about 12. You know, I think it was James Weiss that was putting the heat on him, and he's the guy that ran him down and did make the tackle. Let's take a look at our Dr. Pepper starting lineups. Here's the big fellas up front. Garrett, Moses, Hines, Sheffy, and Justice. Moses, a first-team All-Big East performer. 66 starts among that group of 5. That's the strong point of their offense. Backs and receivers, Colson, the tailback. Bailey's a big tight end. Renaud, Thompson, and Miles, the 3 wide receivers.
You mentioned that offensive line. They are all 4th and 5th year seniors.
Here's the give off the right side and across the 35. Pernell Williams, who will split time with Colson in the backfield today. The Orange defense, led by their head coach, who's the defensive coordinator as well. Let's take a look at their front 4. Lacasse and Weish. Those 2 great defensive ends, Thorner and Drame on the inside. Linebacking course pretty deep, as they can really bring in their second group of linebackers, and they don't even lose too much. Here's the starters of Pruitt, Smith, and Harris. And in the secondary, big hitter back there, and Anthony Smith. Steve Gregory's come over from offense, where he was a wide receiver last year. Here's a little pooch pass inside, and a first down out to the 45 yard line. Tanar Jackson made the tackle, but West Virginia's got something working on offense.
You know, and what we're seeing here, I think, is a coaching staff that has been together. Rich Rodriguez's staff has been together. This is their 5th year, versus a staff of Greg Robinson, a little disorganized on their first 2 offensive series. Not West Virginia. They got this thing rolling.
Here's the handoff up the middle. Maybe 3 for Jason Colson. Colson's made it very clear, talking all week, about the fact that he wants to do well against Syracuse. His career high came last year. He had 133 yards on 18 carries, but he's from Rochester, New York, and Syracuse didn't recruit him. And he says, I'm never going to let them forget it, and I always want to play my best against them. So he's off to a decent start here today.
Well, he's got some good running backs behind him also.
And you saw the signs. A good one out there in the corner there. A lot of Mountaineer fans over the left corner end zone. They fake the option, kept by Bednarik. Nice run. Still on his feet. All the way down to the 25 yard line. Whoa. Now that's a quarterback run.
220 pounds, Bednarik, getting his first action of his career. He's a redshirt sophomore. And Rich was telling me before the ball game, he says, we know we really have 2 players, 2 quarterbacks that can play, so I I don't worry about them when they run so much, and they do run a lot.
And Adam has said, you know, the misconception is that Pat White's the runner and I'm the pocket passer. He says, I think I got pretty good wheels.
So far, he's shown a lot of wheels.
I guess so. He's going to take a timeout here at the 25-yard line. But West Virginia's got their offense moving down deep into Syracuse territory. We'll see if they can capitalize and score when we come back. 9:14 remaining first quarter. Scoreless here in Syracuse. Scoreless with 9:14 to go in the first quarter, but the Mountaineers looking to change that. They've worked it to the Syracuse 25-yard line, courtesy of their quarterback, who ran for 28 tough yards, taking some would-be tacklers with him. There he is, Adam Bednarik, under center this time. Eye backfield. Colson, the tailback. He'll get the call, and he's still on his feet. Well, right now, the Orange defense having trouble bringing down the ball carriers for West Virginia. Jason Colson, Jr., I mentioned, out of Rochester, New York. Marvin Graves and Donovan McNabb were his favorite players growing up. And when they said, you know what, we don't think you're a Division I running back, they meaning Paul Pasqualone and the former regime here at Syracuse, including David Walker, the running back coach, who's now at Pitt. He says, every time I play Pitt or Syracuse, I'm not going to let them forget it. Said he gained 20 pounds this year. 10 of them was a chip on his shoulder. Yeah, we got whistles to stop play with 8:32. Gerard McGinn's our referee.
False start on the offense. 76. 5-yard penalty.
So it puts him in a long yardage situation. Dan Moses, the big left guard, the guy that moved. So it's going to be second down and 11. So far, the ground game of West Virginia has churned its way up here. Let's see if they put it up this time. Bednarik again out of the shotgun. Here comes a blitz on the corner. Maybe an offside call against Syracuse, though. I thought that Kellen Pruitt maybe jumped the gun there. Weiss made the tackle, but Pruitt, coming off the corner, number 41, looked like he got in the neutral zone before the snap. And that's the call. Linebackers for Greg Robinson have all kind of changed positions, Bob, this year.
Yeah.
Switching from strong side to weak side and vice versa. The new guy in the middle. Jerry Mackey was their middle linebacker most of last year and was their leading tackler. Now he's a backup right now.
Things are a little ragged. Some penalties, roughing the punter, guys moving a little bit. You know, this is college football. This is not the NFL, where there are no preseason games to work out all of the jitters and the offside penalties. So you're seeing a little bit of that raggedness right here.
So second down at 6. We go right back to where we were, courtesy of back-to-back penalties. 2 tight ends set this time for the Mountaineers. Trying to score on their opening possession here in the first quarter. They give it around, the end around. Darius Renaud. Renaud broke a tackle, and let's see if he got the first down. It looked like he did. The marker went down, and the guy holding the marker bailed out. We'll see where they spot it. Pick up a 7. Should have given him a first down.
What you're seeing, Brad, is you're seeing the attitude of West Virginia. Every collision is the Syracuse player is not winning the tackles, the collisions. West Virginia has got an attitude. They've come out on this first drive and early in this ball game, and they're just taking it to Syracuse.
Darius Renaud, who's from Louisiana. His parents made it out of New Orleans. They're in Lake Charles, but he says he still hasn't been talking too much to him, and he said his dad's still working the pumps on the levee, so he's one of the many families who've been affected by Hurricane Katrina. Colson keeps his footing. Somehow ball came out. Syracuse has got it. He maybe tried too hard for extra yardage. Tenard Jackson with a fumble recovery.
I think it was Smith that pulled it out. Rich Rodriguez says he was down. I don't think he was down. I think he was on one of the Syracuse players. Let's take a look. Yeah, see, he was sitting on one of the Syracuse players. That is not being down.
Good call, partner. He rolled right across the back, was still on his feet. The ball came out. Syracuse has the first big turnover of the ball game at the 22-yard line. Rhodes. Right side, not much. Got about a yard. Tough sledding for Damian so far. Mike Lorello came up from that bandit position, and there's another flag inside there. We'll see if we have a holding call, although it is in Syracuse backfield. So way too many penalties both ways. I know neither coach is happy with that, but that is some of what you get in week one sometimes.
Dead ball. Personal foul on Syracuse. Number 69. Half the distance from the end of the run. Remains second down.
Quinn Ojanaka with a personal foul. That's why the penalty marker was kind of in a weird spot. You don't look for holding really where that flag fell. And there's the big senior tackle, 6'5", 292. And Greg Robinson asking for an explanation over on the sideline. That's a killer penalty. Backs him all the way up to the 11-yard line.
You know, it's tough enough offensively to move the football without stopping yourself.
Right.
And that's exactly what Syracuse has done so far when they've had the football.
They come in with a fullback now. McDonald in front of Rhodes. Both wide receivers for Barry Patterson's strong side, his left side. They give it off to Rhodes, though, looking for a crease. Didn't find much. Got about 4, and that's probably his biggest gain of the day against this West Virginia defense. That is a pretty good one. Dr. Pepper up front group. Dykes and Hunter and Wilson, who's really a big spark plug in there, and he's from Louisiana as well. Boo McClee, Nelshel, and Henry, the linebackers, and we told you it's a 3-3-5. So here's the secondary. Lorello and Adai, basically both safeties back there, with Lorello being kind of a bandit player.
Only 5 starters returned for West Virginia from that defense from last year, but they've got some guys playing pretty well right now.
The guy you just saw in the mask, Adai, is an all Big East performer. Screen pass set up. Rhodes, blockers in front, but knifing behind that and making the play is Boo McClee. Kevin McClee, but everybody calls him Boo, and even a nice play behind the blocker to make the tackle.
He did a nice job of avoiding the blocker, of getting up and making the play, and Greg saying, hey, come on, Damian, you need to break away. You need to beat those one-on-one tackles.
Lorello looked like maybe he was a little shaken up going over to the sideline, so it's another punting situation for Carney. From behind, Brendan Carney standing precariously at his own 5-yard line. Here they come. He got the kick away. This one not as deep as last time. Taken on the run by Rivers at the 42. Vaughn Rivers does a dance. Got to midfield, and that's it. An 8-yard return of a 38-yard punt, but great field position now for West Virginia one more time. First quarter, no score, 5:39. Our first turnover prevented any problems for Syracuse, but they couldn't capitalize. The Dr. Pepper College Football Kickoff Weekend on ABC Sports is brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, one taste and you get it. Nissan, who reminds you to shift the way you move through the world. McDonald's and Pacific Life for insurance, annuities, and investments. Choose Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed. Inside the Carrier Dome, Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Lynn Swan, and our ABC crew on this Sunday afternoon of the college football opening weekend season. So far, West Virginia has only put it up once. They've done a nice job rushing the football, and they've got great field position. Following that punt return, they'll work at the midfield stripe.
And they don't get under center very often. Bednarik is in the shotgun. It's first down. There he is right there.
Flanked by Colson to his left. Going to be a quick pass out of the flat. And nice open field tackle out there defensively by Steve Gregory. And what a story Steve Gregory is.
Is he playing offense or defense?
He's playing defense this year. Last year he switched over to the offensive side of the ball because they needed help over there, and he had a really nice season as a wide receiver as he caught 38 passes, but his love is cornerback He's a good one, got excellent speed, and they're really happy to have him back on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, he's a 4-year starter. He's got 4 career interceptions, and as you mentioned, a ton of receptions on the offensive side from last year.
Great open field stop for a loss of 1. Second down, 11. Here comes the pressure off the corner. They throw to that very vacated spot. Good recognition by Bednarik. He threw right where the linebacker came from the corner, and he picked up about 5 yards on the reception. Kelvin Smith made the stop. So here's the first big third down for West Virginia.
And the fans are up. This place is loud. That was a little mini huddle you saw right there. Bednarik in the shotgun.
Syracuse loading up. Here they come. Bednarik in trouble. Try a slip screen out to Dwayne Thompson, and he's level.
A big tackle, Drame, number 70, gets out there and slows him up until some of the quicker guys can get out there.
Kadir Drame, that 290-pounder, slips out there, makes a big play, and so now they have something to cheer about for the defense. West Virginia on 4th down. And they leave their offense out there at midfield. Let's see if Bednarik will pooch kick this. Here it comes.
Good call.
Bounces at the 22. Very effective kick. Boy, that's nice.
Yep.
Down to the 13-yard line.
Syracuse defense had come off the field. They had to get them back on the field very quickly.
37-yard punt by Bednarik. Damian Rhodes, so far, he's been kind of bottled up. But he's the #1 choice in the backfield for Syracuse. We'll see if he can get in gear for the Orange offense when we come back. Our Nissan Syracuse drive summary of their first 2 possessions. I don't know if you got your Xterra in reverse or not. That's close to reverse. That's not much. 9 plays and 2 punts and 31 total yards. Brian Periani right there in the middle.
Right there.
He's the offensive coordinator making the call. Let's see if Syracuse can get something working on this drive. And they work from their own 14-yard line. Patterson and Damian Rhodes behind him. He'll get the call. Rhodes trying to cut back, and that West Virginia defense just will not give him anything. I mean, he's really having to earn a yard or 2 here or there. And slow to get up as well. He's got 5 rushes, and he's got 1 yard.
And we mentioned it's a veteran offensive line. 3 starters are back in that offensive line, and all 5 of them are 4th or 5th year seniors, including the tight end.
Well, the ball came out as he hit the ground.
It hits the ground, yeah. Come out when he hits the ground. Which is not a fumble.
Second down and 9. Just over 3 minutes remaining. First quarter, that's scoreless so far. Patterson, quick drop, quick slant, threw it behind his intended receiver. Rice Moss.
What West Virginia is doing is forcing the Oranges. All right, show us this West Coast. You know, we know you guys were a run-based offense in the past, options and all that other stuff. Let us see you throw that football because they're playing 2 deep, 3 deep. The corners are man-on-man on the wide receivers, and they got 8 guys up there stopping the run.
You saw Jeff Castile, the defensive coordinator. Very intense out there, and he'll have them coming maybe with some pressure here as well. And what looks like a passing down, 3rd down and 9. They walk an extra guy up in the box. Now they bring the blitz from the secondary. Patterson throws, and this time he hits his receiver, but it's incomplete. Defensively, Antonio Lewis made the play on the wide receiver, and it'll force another Syracuse punt. That's the best throw, I think, by Perry so far.
Well, the throw was there. You know, this was a good play. The receiver ran a good route. The throw was there. I don't know if the defensive back was there a little too early. It looked like he hit him before the ball got there.
So now punting from his own end zone is going to be Brendan Carney.
That's probably a good no call, though. I mean, that's a very tough call to make. It was a bang-bang play, almost happened right at the same time.
Oh, Carney hit another beauty.
Great kick.
All the way back to the 27-yard line. But now it's Lewis who made that last play coming the other way on the punt return. As it was a 59-yard kick, but he hit it so deep there was no coverage down there, and they let a 19-yard return happen. So again, West Virginia is winning the field position battle, but so far they're not winning on the scoreboard. Don't forget Thursday night, ABC starts the football season with a spectacular celebration. The Rolling Stones, Green Day, Santana, and many more take the stage. It's NFL opening kickoff presented by Sprint. Then Tom Brady and the Patriots take on Randy Moss and the Oakland Raiders on Monday Night Football. Remember this one? Adam Vinatieri in the snow. That was the big tough game between those two. That one sent them on to a Super Bowl title.
That changed pro football.
There's a new number and a new uniform for Randy Moss. Should be fun. Special edition of Monday Night Football happens Thursday night at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC with Alan, John, and Michelle. Here's the option, the late pitch. And the ball came out. Syracuse has got it again. Might be Anthony Smith again. The big hitter in the secondary at the end of the play comes up with a football.
West Virginia's doing everything right except holding on to the ball. Hit from behind. Smith's going to pick it up.
James Weish came way back again, running like a man possessed from that defensive end position. That looks like a fumble recovery to me. They're taking a look at it, maybe.
I think the ball is definitely out before he's down.
So Smith has a forced fumble and a fumble recovery.
The Big East has review, and I think they are going to pause the game to review it.
Legal substitution.
Nope.
12 men
penalty marker
on Syracuse. Number 81. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Illegal substitution.
And what that means there were 12 players in the huddle. Take a look at the last play again. See if it's a fumble or not.
No, it's way out.
Way out. Yes, they're not even reviewing it. It's nice call.
That's the second time. Excuse me, Swanee, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say the only thing they might want to look at, and they shouldn't, would be if he had possession of the ball when he slid out of bounds. And that would be the only thing that they might question, but I believe he had possession.
Yeah, the look we had looked like that too, Swanee. Patterson fakes the draw. Plenty of time. Airing it out. Going deep. Got a man. Broken up. Nice play defensively back there by D. McCann, the senior cornerback.
McCann did a better job of playing the ball than the receiver did.
Now we've got another strange penalty on Syracuse. A face mask. They've already had a personal foul on Ojanaka. Now they're going to have a face mask offensively called, if indeed our preliminary signal is what we're getting. And that's a little strange too. You don't see many of those.
Face mask on Syracuse. Number 60. 15-yard penalty from the previous line of scrimmage. Repeat. First down.
Greg Robinson's going to have a talk with his offensive lineman here pretty soon. Out in the center, the guilty party that time.
Well, it's not just one guy. It's infested in the whole team. It's one guy this time, one guy that time. 12 guys in the huddle. You know, it's disorganization. It's lack of discipline. I mean, these are things that you should have had already by this time.
Patterson on first down. They tried to screen the other way. Rhodes got a block, cuts outside. Stood up over there on the sideline at about the 32, 33-yard line by McCann. But they got a nice gain out of it this time. Swanee?
Well, Bob and Brad, we're talking about everything at Syracuse being new, and you're talking about strange penalties. The offensive line in the West Coast offense has to learn a new style of blocking also. They line up differently. They're going to use their hands a little bit more, trying to fend people off and trying to keep their hands down. So everyone's a little uncomfortable probably in the first game. They don't have the confidence of 2 or 3 games under their belt.
Yeah, good point. It's a lot different. The blocking scheme's much different. You rely on quickness, getting low on people at times. That philosophy the Broncos had and the 49ers had. Patterson. Whoa! Rhodes made a heck of a catch, but he's planted right at the 30-yard line. Mike Lorello made the stop.
Yeah, great play by Lorello. But somebody on Syracuse has got to step up and look for that guy and block him. Everybody's just standing around.
Everybody knows that number 23 is out there as the bandit in their 5-man secondary. You'd think somebody'd pick him up. Late.
Yeah,
both of them saw him, but a little late.
Get out there, get out, you know.
Third down and a mile now. 3 wideouts for Syracuse. We're down to a minute and a half in the quarter. Patterson might be changing the play up at the line. They don't do much of that like they used to. Quick drop, quick throw out, complete to Moss. He got it near the 40-yard line, but well short of the first down, and they'll have to give it up again. They gained a little bit of field position, is about all they accomplished on that fumble recovery by Anthony Smith. And if Carney gets a hold of this one, barring a big return, you would assume West Virginia is going to be a little bit deeper in their own territory, because they've had great field position all day long.
They just can't hold on to the football.
Right. It's kind of like Northern Illinois and Michigan yesterday. They move the ball, but they don't hold on to it. Carney, an end-over-end job this time. Fair catch taken at about the 23-yard line by Vaughn Rivers. So a 39-yard punt with 39 seconds remaining in the first quarter, and we'll see West Virginia come back offensively. Coming up, ABC Sports takes you to Boston, where the PGA Tour's best will tee it up for the 3rd round of the Deutsche Bank Championship. That's next right here on ABC. We'll get you from football to golf.
There you go.
On this Sunday, along with the orange-clad Orange fans. With Bob Greasy and Lynn Swan, I'm Brad Nessler. Nice to have you along with us on our Dr. Pepper kickoff college football weekend. Some upsets yesterday.
Boy, weren't they?
Wow. Pat White's in at quarterback. So the other quarterback, we knew we'd see him. This is by design, and he's just going to take the handoff and go straight ahead. Pat is a redshirt freshman out of Daphne, Alabama, kind of down in the Gulf Coast area too, where they were hit by the hurricane, or at least the remnants of it. Pat 6'2", 190-pounder. Was a great player down in Alabama high school.
The biggest thing about Pat White is that he's left-handed. Bednarik is a right-hander. White is a left-hander, which can cause some problems for a defense.
Jason Gwaltney, the much heralded freshman, is in the backfield. And here's White setting up, going deep. Boys, he's throwing that a mile. Nobody home back there, though, except the defensive back, Anthony Smith. Anthony's always around the ball.
The receiver stopped running. It was a takeoff route, and the receiver knew that he couldn't get behind him, so he just stopped running.
Flag down in the Mountaineer backfield. Would indicate it's a holding call that will end the first quarter, but we'll take a look at it first.
Holding on the offense, number 76. 10-yard penalty from the previous line of scrimmage. Repeat, 2nd down. 1 on-time down before the end of the quarter.
We'll have one more down before the end of the quarter. So far for Rich Rodriguez, penalties and ball security have been the big problem in the first 15 minutes. So that backs him up to the 15-yard line.
You know, the other thing about first games and jitters and all that other stuff is you lose a lot of players. Where's the leadership? A lot of the guys have left with leaders, and then the chemistry of the team hasn't gelled yet.
See if Syracuse tries to get after the young quarterback. He's clapping his hands, wanting the ball. Quarterback draw. And they take him down after he only got about a yard past the line of scrimmage. Chris Thorner made the tackle. So far, the fans mostly have had to cheer for the Syracuse Orange defense because their offense has sputtered. We've gone through a scoreless first quarter here at the Carrier Dome. Some hard hitting going on, though. You're watching Dr. Pepper's College Football Kickoff Weekend on ABC. Now we'll see if somebody can drum something up offensively in the second quarter. We're back at the Carrier Dome. Adam Bednarik started the game at quarterback, pretty effective, especially on the ground. But he's given way to Pat White, the redshirt freshman. We knew both quarterbacks would play. We talked about it in the open. When you're a redshirt freshman, you're on the road, and you're in your first big game. You don't want 3rd down and 16.
Well, and the main thing you don't want to do here is turn the ball over.
And he's got a freshman tailback in there flanking him, and Steve Slayton.
Defense moving in and out, trying to confuse.
White going to go long near sideline. Well covered, incomplete. And
the official throws his hat because the receiver went out of bounds, not because there was any flag. If he would have been a penalty, he would have thrown the flag.
Wayne Thompson, the intended receiver. Tenard Jackson, the corner, is the guy that made the play. And so now West Virginia's got a punt. And Phil Brady, Kobe James actually will punt.
Syracuse could come out of this one with really good field position.
Well, they haven't had any all day. Brady to kick. J.J. Beadle stands and waits at about midfield. High snap. Handled well. End over end kick, but Beadle's going to have a shot at it from the 48-yard line. Across midfield. Oh, he got a big block. Inside the 40 and down to about the 37-yard line. Tenard Jackson just ear-holed somebody, and that sprung him for the punt return that gives them the great field position Bob was talking about.
Well, the defense has set up the offense.
Foul. Late hit on West Virginia, number 35.
And now they're really going to have
from the end of the run.
Great field position.
First down.
Now this is when you go to a four-way stop and one driver doesn't stop and the other one does. And then the late hit is right there with the helmet, in fact.
Yeah.
Helmet to helmet on the sideline.
It's tough for those defensive guys, but you've got to be alerted that any time near the sideline, the runner goes out, you've got to be able to be ready to pull off. Jackson likes it.
Well, that was a very little number on a big 77, boys.
Oh, I guess.
That's a weight room hit.
Yeah. So first down inside the 20. Syracuse first trip down in the red zone. See if they can capitalize. Patterson, high backfield. Rhodes, the tailback, gets the call. Got some blocking this time. Damian Rhodes. First and goal, Orange. Mark Magro saved a touchdown maybe there. That's the first time Damian's got the wheels moving.
To the right side of that offensive line, Franklin and Ojanaka, Kowalski, the tight end, all doing a nice job. 85 is Kowalski. It's just a stand-up block. It's not a power block. It's just a shield you. You go outside, I'm going to shield you away from my guy running inside of me.
Barry Patterson trying to check that wristband from the play that came in from the bench. They set up first and goal at the West Virginia 5-yard line.
Gotta hurry.
Going to have to hustle. They're going to have to call timeout.
Yeah.
Again, the confusion.
Yes.
You can see things were taking
Syracuse.
too long.
First charge, timeout.
And we'll take a timeout with them. But right now, the Orange, courtesy of a big punt return and then a big penalty, are knocking on the Mountaineer door. Following the Syracuse timeout, they come out to the line. First and goal. Major Applewhite, the quarterback coach, signaling in the plays from the new offensive coordinator, Brian Periani. That time they had plenty of time to talk about what they want to do on first and goal. And now Patterson maybe changing things up again. Rhodes at tailback. Damian Rhodes, right side, follows his blockers, touchdown! Damian Rhodes from 5 yards out gives us our first score of the afternoon. He had McDonald, his big fullback, out there, and he followed those big eaters on the right side, and a nice hole opened up. And Syracuse on the board first.
It's a huge score for the offense of Syracuse. It's a huge score for the coaching staff and the new regime.
Ricky Krautman in for the point after, and it's up and good. Well, they had this play, almost the same play that got them down to the 5-yard line, and now they give it to Damian again.
Running to the right side. Behind Ojanaki and Franklin and Kowalski.
And the big fullback, you'll see 48 come in there. Whoa, look out.
There's McDonald. That ain't no free burger.
There's some happy guys.
Some happy guys on the sideline too, like Major Applewhite. Brian Periani, the offensive coordinator, had some problems the first quarter getting some plays in on time, but that's bound to happen.
Yep.
Robinson brought three of his assistants from Texas. One of them was a graduate assistant. He got 3 of them from the Denver Broncos, and he had 4 of them on the staff stage. So, you know, you just got to blend these guys together, and it's going to take some time to do that.
Brandon Carling will kick. That's Antonio Lewis. Vaughn Rivers joins him back there as the deep return man for the Mountaineers. Nice kick. Deep. And they're going to bring it out. Lewis took a chance from 5 yards in. And he made it pay off. Got about an extra yard that they wouldn't have gotten out to the 21-yard line. Took a big hit there. Well, it's a new season, and it's time for our Aflac Trivia question. Our question this week: who's the only player in Big East history to win both the Conference Offensive and Defensive Player of the Week award in the same week? Whew, boy. And let's go down to Lynn Swan for a minute.
Well, Bob and Brad, you know, in 2003, our crew started the Aflac Trivia competition, and I won the first trophy, thank you very much. And last year, this trophy belongs to Brad, as you can see, 2004. And the only person who doesn't have one is our expert analyst, Bob. But I'm sure he's looking forward to getting one this year.
I want our crew to put up that picture where Swanee, how Swanee won it a couple of years ago.
Oh, that's old news. Here's a flare out. And down the sideline, first down, Owen Schmidt, the fullback, on the throw from Bednarik. And West Virginia with a first down. Thank you, Swanee, and thank you, Aflac, for that beautiful swiveling Aflac Duck trophy.
They'll play action. I like this. I like West Virginia. They're aggressive. They attack. They get after you. They come at you. What's wrong with this picture, Brad? Total offense, over 100 yards for West Virginia, only 32 for Syracuse. What does that tell you?
Making mistakes, dropping the ball, and field position is the story of the ballgame.
They also had 2 turnovers.
And off this time, Pernell Williams, and he's swarmed under by the Orange defense this time. Syracuse defense played pretty stout. Of course, we've talked so much about it. The new head coach is a longtime defensive coordinator. And you always hear that's going to bring a new defense and an attacking style of defense. And I said to Greg the other day, I said, well, where's your Derek Johnson? Oh, we don't have one of those. The fine linebacker All-American from Texas that he got the coach last year. Yep. Tell you what, though, they got guys like Steve Gregory making plays. Rich Rodriguez finds himself on the 3rd down and long coming up. So Bednarik back in there. White played a series. And now it's getting loud again. 3rd down and 7. Tips at the line, incomplete. Kadir Drame has made a couple big plays. Big number 70.
Now that Syracuse orange is starting to come alive. They're starting to get a little leadership on the field, some chemistry, and a feel like, you know, something good's going to happen. The first quarter was not what they wanted.
So another punting situation now for West Virginia. Phil Brady will come out to kick. And dropping back deep, J.J. Beadle, the redshirt freshman. Little guy, but got great speed. Boy, West Virginia's got some wide gaps in their punt unit, too. High snap. He got it away. Boy, that was a nice job by Phil Brady just to get rid of that thing. First of all, they had to get up in the air to pull it down, and then he got away a decent kick. 12 minutes, 32 seconds remaining in the first half. Syracuse at home leading by 7. The Dr. Pepper College football kickoff weekend on ABC Sports is brought to you by Chrysler. Inspiration comes standard. Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, one taste and you get it. And Aflac. Ask about it at work. The Mountaineers here in Syracuse up from Morgantown, hoping that they can find a way to stop Syracuse offense, which had a pretty good drive last time. Short drive because of the punt return and the penalty that ensued. But nonetheless, it was effective with Damian Rhodes, who had the 2 big carries, including the 5-yard touchdown. And he's in there as a tailback in the eye as they start 1st and 10. The Orange at their own 32-yard line. They fake it to Rhodes. Patterson. Dangerous pass. Picked off. This will be a touchdown for Eric Wicks. Oh, boy. Eric Wicks read that thing like a People magazine, and it was gone. That's how you even things up.
Well, West Virginia's had 2 turnovers, and they've gotten a turnover, and everything's square. 7-7.
The interception for a touchdown. For a guy who didn't play all that much last year, but he's a big part of that 5-man defensive secondary. He had an interception for a touchdown last year against Virginia Tech, and I think it was about the same distance as they're going to mark this one. They call this 32 for the touchdown. I think his interception return was 34 last year. Extra point is up and good. So that quiets the crowd immediately. And some long blue and orange faces now. Let's take another look at Eric Wicks.
When you're take a look from behind the offense, Patterson's going to throw this ball out there. I guarantee you, he never saw Wicks, because there was a couple of offensive linemen that were working in front of him, because the softness he threw that ball, the bottom of the screen, right there, the softness with which he threw that ball, he thought he had a man wide open, and he was covered.
How'd you like to have 2 career interceptions and they're both touchdowns?
Yeah.
That ain't bad.
Ain't bad at all.
And there's a happy guy.
The coach is going to say, intercept some more.
He's a junior out of Pittsburgh, 6'1", 215, and nobody even near him as he played it beautifully. And we're even at 7.
Not for you, mama.
McAfee, the freshman, will get set to kick off. Steve Gregory and Kareem Jones. There's Steve waiting on the other end. McAfee, a true freshman, the kicker for West Virginia. He got a nice kick here, up in the air, down to about the 8-yard line to Gregory. Steve's got good speed, cuts outside, got a block. Almost sprung it out of there. Got out near the 30-yard line. Well, our college football weekend will come to a close tomorrow night. The Dr. Pepper kickoff weekend wraps up with one of the great rivalries in college football. Number 9 Miami heads to Tallahassee. They'll take on number 14 Florida State. And right now Miami's had the Seminoles number for several years, including all those wide right kicks. And then there was another one that went the other direction.
You know the key in that ball game.
For the win for Florida State to upset Miami. The kick on the way. He missed it. Wide left. Well, I hope it doesn't come down to a kick tomorrow night or if it does, maybe Florida State will get one at home.
Yeah, like I was going to say, I think the key in that ball game is what you've seen around college football the last couple of days is both quarterbacks on those 2 teams are new quarterbacks. Look what happened to Oklahoma yesterday when they had to start a new quarterback and play a quarterback. They got beat. Look what happened to Auburn last night when they had to play a new quarterback. They got beat. And both teams, Miami and Florida State, are going to be breaking in new quarterbacks.
2nd down and 7 for a veteran quarterback here. Syracuse, Perry Patterson back to throw. The lefty flares it out to Rhodes. Here comes a whole bunch of navy and gold. And he stopped. Actually, might have lost a yard. No gain anyway. Kevin McLeod made the stop. And it's going to bring up a 3rd down. So far the passing game of Syracuse has not gotten on track. We knew that, especially with green receivers, that it was going to be a little bit tough.
There was Major Applewhite yelling some final instructions out. Major was a graduate assistant at the University of Texas under Mac Brown last year and came with Greg Robinson. Now he's the quarterback coach, and he's going to be a great coach.
Here comes a blitz. Patterson waits in the pocket, flares it out. Rhodes met in his tracks. Nice tackle. D. McCann, the corner.
That's just good work by McCann. First of all, he held up the wide receiver, jammed him, beat the block then of the wide receiver, and got up and made the play.
We heard the first spattering of boos, so the honeymoon is over for Coach Robinson here with 10:32 remaining in the first half. Brandon Carney to punt inside his own 20 again. They got good pressure on him the first time. He's a long striding punter. He's worked on trying to speed up his kicks, and he's done a better job of that today. And they're going to have to let this one roll dead. It'll go down just inside the 30-yard line, a 40-yard kick. Well, our trivia question, our Aflac trivia question to open up the season, was the only player in Big East history to win both the conference offensive and defensive player of the week awards in the same week. Who wants to go?
Hey, I got this one, so I don't want to give you guys the answers.
I remember one game that
there's only one game.
Diamond Ferry had an unbelievable game playing both ways. Swanee, you have a guess?
Well, that was against Boston College. I think he picked off one for a touchdown, and he rushed for one or two. Matter of fact, I got the answer. I didn't really know it on my own. My friend Bobby Becker, who's on the sideline, went to Syracuse, and I said, "You know anybody who did this?" He goes, "Oh yeah, my friend Diamond Ferry did it."
Sure.
See, Swanee's always got help.
He always has help.
It's like playing with all those Hall of Famers that he played with. He had a lot of help.
That's just the best way to do it.
It is. Here's the pass out. Pick up a 4, maybe 5 to Darius Renaud. So we all got that one, I guess. Diamond Ferry is Syracuse. 141 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Interception for a score. That's what you call playing both ways.
Yeah, he was a good player.
Bednarik rolling left throw. What a hit. And Renaud held on to it and might have a first down. Steve Gregory is the guy that delivered the hit, and maybe he got the worst of it. Man, we have heard some pads popping in the dome. Steve Gregory with the hit on Darius Renaud.
Might be his shoulder.
Yep. So Renaud, who's got a couple of catches on this series alone, we're going to get another look at it, is the slot man there, number 2. Well,
Bob and Brad, we see a lot of hits like this in college football. Guys come up, and that particular hit, Gregory doesn't wrap him up. Watch here as he comes out. Instead of trying to form him up for a tackle, he's trying to hit him as hard as he can, using his strength to knock him down, and he lays that shoulder into him. So you might be right, Brad, it could be the shoulder, but he seems to be shaking it off at the moment.
You know, I was talking to one of the officials, and they were going to crack down on the spearing in the secondary, and he says more often than not, their statistics have found that it's the defensive guy that ends up getting hurt rather than the receiver or the offensive guy when the spearing takes place. That was not spearing, but a lot of times the defensive guy comes up with the worst of it.
That same thing in the Monday night game the other night, though. It was not a spearing situation at all. Terry Fair went down and hit the knee of Kevin Jones, and he got the worst of that one. So that happens a lot.
Exactly.
Steve came off under his own power, kind of moving that right shoulder. Marcus Clayton has taken his spot in the secondary. Playcock down to 5 as Bednarik out of the shotgun. Might have been motion on Syracuse defensively, and Bednarik takes a pretty good hit as he gets sent out of bounds. Looked like the orange jumps into the neutral zone, but we'll wait to see the call. Of course, Syracuse players are saying it's movement on the front wall of West Virginia, so we'll let the officials sort it out.
Offsides on the defense. Number 70. 5-yard penalty from the previous line of scrimmage. Remains first down.
So Drum Mays, who made some big plays, picks up a penalty there.
And you know how they do this. West Virginia is a no huddle most of the time. The quarterback lines up deep, and if the stadium is loud, they can't hear any signals. So what the quarterback does is he gives a signal, a hand signal or a clap to the center. It says, all right, all the motion is gone. Now you can snap it any time you want. And the center just raised his head, and the guy jumped offside.
Hines, the center, snaps it, and the handoff is going nowhere to Colson. They got him all wrapped up. Ryan Lacasse and Jerry Mackey are there to meet him.
Well, these are probably 2 of the fastest defensive ends in all of college football. Lacasse and Weish both won sprint championships in their high school days.
That's something.
Here's Lacasse out here.
Ends up making the tackle or sharing it with Mackey. Second down. Give it to Gwaltney, the freshman. Oh, he's a load. They're really excited about him. He got it out to the 49-yard line. Jason's a true freshman out of North Babylon, New York. Over 230 pounds. Really one of the most highly recruited running backs probably in the whole country last year. And so he's getting his first taste of big-time college football. Third down. See if he gets the handle on an important third down in a long yard. Got the fullback Owen Schmidt back there with him. Loud Stadium, 3rd and 1 near midfield. Do you give it to the freshman? Yep. Oh, boy. What a hit by Syracuse.
Kevin Smith, the middle linebacker, all over him.
It's not North Babylon, New York High School anymore. Kapow. West Virginia, though, has got their offense out there. 4th down on a yard. They appear they're going to go for it unless they're trying to draw the orange offside.
Maybe that quick kick again.
He better back up farther if that's coming.
There he is.
Here it comes, second time. High, lazy kick, but I think maybe time had expired.
Delay of game when the back judge throws the flag. He's the guy that's timing the play.
Dead ball. Delay of game. West Virginia. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
And now we'll probably see the regulation punting unit, I would guess. Although Bednarik staying out there.
But what took so long, and Rich is a little upset about it, the communication between the quarterback and the center, because it was, hey, the center says, are you going to punt it or are you not going to punt it? Are we going to run the play or what? And that was the communication that needed. We want to punt this ball. Snap it to me deep.
We're tied at 7 with just over 7 to go in the first half. And that's 4th down and 6. And again, so far the Mountaineers offense is staying out there, so you would assume now here comes punting unit finally. And Syracuse has got to change up personnel in a hurry. Well, a lot of people running around out there.
You got to be organized. You got to be organized. You got to know the people. You stand them right there on the sideline. That's what the Syracuse was doing at practice the other day, just running these teams on and off the field.
Phil Brady again had a high snap from center last time and handled it pretty well. Gets this one high into the Carrier Dome white roof. Beadle with a fair catch, and he'll take it at about the 25-yard line. 6 minutes and 56 seconds remaining in the first half here at Syracuse, where the Orange are tied with West Virginia, and their offense takes the field when we come back. Grease, you talk about punting formations. I like how Magro, number 53, opens the screen door here for Brady.
Yeah, all these guys next to the center. Now the center, the ball goes, snap goes through, then he closes it up, but he's got some Syracuse guys that like a 10-yard run at him. But I like that, the old swinging gate.
Yeah.
The ball goes through and then you close it up.
First down now for Syracuse. The last time they tried to add to their 7-0 lead, it was a 32-yard interception returned by Eric Wicks the other way to tie it up. And that's the last pass Barry Patterson's thrown. Let's see what he does here. He's going to have to throw it or a quarterback draw. And he threw too low and behind Damian Rhodes, incomplete. Patterson has struggled a little bit in this new system.
With the new system, you know, we all talk about being a West Coast. You know, people, well, what is a West Coast offense? Basically, it's short drops, 3-step drops by the quarterback and 5-step drops and throw quick. You don't take 7 steps, you don't take a lot of time, and you run shorter routes, slants, outs, fades, but you throw the ball relatively quick.
Rhodes taken down as he got out across the 30-yard line by Eric Wicks again. And Damian had a good head of steam before Wicks brought him down. Patterson so far has 9 completions, but 6 of them have gone to Damian Rhodes. So Damian Rhodes coming into this game was their leading returning receiver. He had 18 catches last year to go with his 870 rushing yards and sharing time with Walter Reyes in the backfield. He's the man now, number 1. He's done most of the work again today. 3rd down and 4. Patterson, there's that quick drop Bob talked about. Oh, he blew it right past Kovaleski, his tight end. And it brings up 4th down.
Well, he threw it hard because there's a couple of black shirts right around him. West Virginia is playing a lot of zones, so if Syracuse is running a lot of short routes, there's a lot of defensive guys real close to the receivers.
Jeff Castile, the defensive coordinator, his team settled in and played really well here in this 2nd quarter. There's Rivers and Lewis, the dual return men. Nice high kick again. Fair catch. Rivers a late fair catch call and took it at about the 22-yard line. 47-yard kick and no return. So nice punt by number 47. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary so far in the ball game. West Virginia, 2 turnovers. This one after a nice run forced by Weish, recovered by Anthony Smith. Smith has forced one and recovered one. And then Damian Rhodes follows his blockers, had a good run to get it to the 5, took it in from there to catch just an 18-yard drive. And then it was Eric Wicks earlier in this quarter, 32-yard interception return, his 2nd career interception, his 2nd career interception touchdown. Steve Gregory's back defensively for Syracuse, and Pat White is back in at quarterback for West Virginia. Here he is. Nice play fake on the roll. He's a left-hander. That's his side, but he's going to pull it down and get what he can. Not make a mistake over there, and got it out to the 27-yard line. Swanee?
Oh, Bob, you know, and Brad, a lot of games, college games, mostly on Saturday, but there's one guy, number 70, Travis Garrett, who's very happy that this game is on Sunday. The reason being, on Friday night, he was hospitalized with a 24-hour stomach virus. Not in great shape. He finally made it here. They got him hydrated, but if this were a Saturday game, he would not be playing very much today.
Well, that's good news that he had the extra day to recover. Get some good eating up here in Syracuse last night. Ready to go. And there's the ball came out. Syracuse has got it. Again, trying to fight for extra yardage. And Colson dropped it. Tommy Harris, I think the guy that made him cough it up. Or was it Ryan Lacasse? And Drame in the middle of everything again.
Let's take a look. This is just a case of trying to battle for too much. Definitely the ball is out. Drame seemed like he had a good yank on it.
Yeah, he did. Lacasse held him up. Drame right there with the strip.
That's smart play. That is smart play by defensive linemen.
Talked about the turnovers. Add another one to the West Virginia list. Here's a double reverse. See if Beadle can get anything going. West Virginia's all over that one. Anthony Mims staying home, knowing that that side of the field is his in case they try that, and it's a loss of 6.
I never understand. I've never understood any offense that runs a double reverse, because you start going one way and you get everybody going that way. Then you come back the other way. And
you just drove him right back in.
It's right. You're just going right back where you tried to get him going in the first place. If you really fooled them the first time, and if they're that dumb, then you're just going to help them out. Oh.
2nd down and 16 after the loss of 6.
It's like faking a screen to the right and then faking it to the left and then come back and throw it to the right.
Right where everybody's there.
Yeah.
Patterson straight drop this time. Stands in the pocket. Delivers. Did Lane catch that? Boy, he had his hands out. They're going to say that the ground or the field turf helped him a little bit. Tim Lane, a junior out of San Diego. He did not catch a pass at all last year, and here he is, a starting wide receiver.
I think what they need to do with Patterson is he needs some success. He needs some completions. Get him outside the pocket. Let him throw similar to what he threw last year. Get him outside the pocket where he doesn't have to read anything. Just play catch with one of the receivers, maybe crossing the field or going down, running the deep out.
3rd down conversions. You put both these teams together, and we're 0 for 11. Here's the 3rd and 16 for the Orange. Here comes everybody after Perry Patterson, and whistles. I thought sounded, maybe not. I thought I heard whistles.
I did too.
I don't see flags. Thought I heard whistles.
Prior to snap, delay of game on Syracuse. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
Now it's a lot easier. It's 3rd and 21.
Yeah, well, the one score that Syracuse did have, they got the ball on the 18-yard line, and 2 plays later they got a touchdown, so they got some help from West Virginia.
Yep.
Neither offense has done a lot today.
Just shaded inside the 40-yard line for Syracuse. 3rd down and 21. West Virginia defense. See if they bring the heat again on Patterson. Here they come. He lost the ball. Rhodes covered it. And it'll bring up 4th down in about 23. Well, that drive went the wrong direction for Syracuse, starting with the double reverse.
I just say this, it's very tough to go from a pro option offense to a spread passing attack from with the same players, and over a course of a few months. Now next year, when they stay with the same system and you over and over and see what teams try to do against you, then you're going to have some success with it.
4th down and Army to kick. He might have got too much of this one. Let's see. Oh, no, he did. Oh, yes, he did. It took a weird bounce. I thought it was going to go out of bounds.
Flyer couldn't find it.
As we have 3:37 remaining in the halftime right now to check in with John Saunders in New York. John.
Brad with Craig James and Aaron Taylor. Coming up on the Valvoline Halftime Show, we're going to explore some of the hot topics around college football.
Hey, can you believe that we've come up with a new reason to watch USC this year? Hey, it's a tough schedule in front of them.
Hey, guys, what's the deal with this new BCS Harris poll? Is it worth a dang? We will find out, or at least we'll talk about whether it is or not. Coming up on the Valvoline Halftime Show right now. Let's take it back to Brad and Bob.
See you in about 3.5 minutes. You've had a busy weekend in New York.
Long hours yesterday.
1st down. And maybe a yard. That's about it. James Weish again in on the stop of Pernell Williams.
Who impressed you the most yesterday, Bradley?
As far as shaking hands, James Weish.
I was talking about.
I thought you were talking about the Syracuse players.
No, I was talking about college football and watching some of the games as we did.
Well, USC looked pretty good.
I was impressed with USC, and I was very impressed with Notre Dame.
White going deep. What a catch!
Great throw, Miles.
Down to the 40-yard line. Well, that one was right on the money. I was just going to say, are we ever going to see a pass that looks good today? 38-yard pickup.
He got in and out coverage on the receiver, so he just puts him. The best part about this is the quarterback throws it over the inside and pulls Miles away from the outside guy. Just nice throw.
Best offensive play of the day, down to the 41-yard line. White in the shotgun, rolls that way and throws complete again. This one will pick up a 4 or 5 as Tommy Harris made the hit on Waltney. Waltney, the freshman, gets some significant time here in the first half. Now they're going to come in with extra tight ends. And they've got it at the Syracuse 37-yard line. White in the gun. Pernell Williams split out as a wide receiver down to the bottom corner of your screen as a 3rd wideout. 2 tight end set. Crowd trying to come up to life for the defense. Quarterback draw. White hit before he could get to the stick. Probably Anthony Smith. Dwayne Davis also there. It is Dwayne Davis. Number 26. And he's got Diamond Ferry's old spot. Talked about Diamond earlier in the Aflac Trivia question. Here's a big 3rd down for the Mountaineers. And the fans here know it. 3rd down and 4. And we're down to a minute 45 and a half. Tie game. Here comes a blitz. White had it batted at the line. Incomplete. That's one thing between White and Bednarik. White's delivery seems to be a little bit lower, and sometimes that can cost you. And that's 4th down. They're going to go for it here. Remember, they've got a freshman kicker who they think was the best in the country. Right now, he'd be looking at a 52-yard field goal if they don't go for it. Swanee?
Guys, when I talked to Rodriguez, I asked him this question. I said, if you're in the first half, you've got the ball, time is running out, and you could kick a field goal, would you bring that freshman? And he says, anywhere inside the 50-yard line, we'd give him a chance. Now, he's got 1:31. He's got a defense that's been stopping the Syracuse offense pretty good. He might still find this an attractive opportunity to give that young freshman a chance to kick a long field goal.
Well, that's the kicker over there, Pat McAfee. He is a very confident guy, and you know, everybody gives kickers a bad name all the time, that they're so flaky, and this guy's put together. We were watching him yesterday. 6'1", 205-pounder, and he has a different air about him that you wouldn't expect a freshman to have, especially a freshman kicker. He's a football player. At least he thinks he is. But the discussion continues now, and he is in the background over there. He's got the chin strap ready if he can come in and kick, but it appears that the offense is going to try to do something here. Well, maybe not. Nope. Here comes the offense. And Bednarik comes back in at quarterback. Now remember, Bednarik has quick kicked a couple of these. He's in the shotgun.
Bednarik, the right-hander, may roll out here. They want Bednarik in here so he can run to the right side.
That's what he's doing. Good call, partner. Bednarik's got a first down. There you go.
That's what I said. You got a right-hander and a left-hander. You got to know when to use them.
On a 4th down and 4, he got 8. And he's had 2 of the best runs of the day. Remember, he had a 28-yard run, a tough one earlier, and he picks up 8 big ones here.
There are 2 receivers on this side are going to clear out. There's short receiver, zone coverage downfield. Just that gives you so many options. You can throw the ball downfield if they get open. You can throw it short, or you can run it.
It's weird. White's had the best throw of the day by any quarterback. Bednarik's had the 2 best runs. This time rolling to his left, and he's just going to get rid of this one. Throws it out of bounds. Lacasse was giving chase.
You can see the problem that a right-handed quarterback has going to his left side. To throw the football downfield, you got to square your shoulders, turn them all the way back, and then release it.
And the only way you can do that, Bob, is to stop if you're running, which means if you do and you've got hot pursuit, you usually get a defensive end, some guy who can run 4.4 these days.
or be running toward the line of scrimmage. That helps if you're going to the left if you're a right-hander.
At the 27 of Syracuse with 1:16 to go. West Virginia trying to change the scoreboard. We're tied at 7. Bednarik pumps once, now goes deep. He's got a flag route out there and got a nope, incomplete. Darius Renard had his hand on it. Anthony Smith kind of uncorked it on it.
This was a pretty good throw and a good effort. Take a look at the number 2 at the top left of the screen. He makes a nice play to go up and try to catch it, but Smith just kind of knocks it away.
3rd down and 10. And again, the Syracuse crowd up in the dome. Bednarik, quarterback draw all the way, and it's going nowhere. Kellen Pruitt's got it. It's a loss of about 3.
Kellen Pruitt's had a big game up until now, and so has Anthony Smith.
And now I give your freshman kicker a shot. Swanee said if it's under a minute and we're down inside the 40, unless Rich was kidding us yesterday. It's 4th down, and it's a bunch. It's about 13 to go. He might let the clock wind down a little bit here. He doesn't want to give Syracuse any time if he can help it. And the clock will wind down a little bit.
Well, this has definitely been a defensive half.
No doubt.
Both scores have come from the defense. One directly with a interception for a touchdown by Wicks, and Syracuse scoring after a fumble.
So there's the timeout. They used all the time they could. They're probably going to give their freshman kicker a crack at a long one when we come back. He's ready.
All right, let's take a look at our Chrysler passing playbook. You know, it's been a defensive first half, so we're going to show a pass rush. Let's go ahead and run this. Watch the orange pants of the Syracuse defense. Watch to the right side. Now, they're not going to get to the quarterback, but see how they raised their hands. There were 3 guys right there. I hated that. Quarterbacks hate that when you raise your hands right in their face. It's like a picket fence.
Here's a true freshman kicker. His longest field goal in high school was 48 yards. This is a 48-yard field goal attempt. And if you're on the other side, you think about somebody like Anthony Smith, who has blocked 5 in his career.
Syracuse.
Syracuse going to take a timeout.
Timeout of the half.
So they're going to make the kicker think about it a little bit longer.
Ice the freshman. Has West Virginia started classes yet? He probably doesn't know where the library is. He's out here in a big game kicking a field goal.
Well, we saw a lot of kids walking around yesterday that found the library for the first time this week around Syracuse, and then a big concert over there by our trucks. They were all having a nice Saturday, and now most of them are in here to start the second work week of school.
Hey, I was driving through West Virginia about a month ago on my way up to Pittsburgh, and it was beautiful. I never went through the mountains of West Virginia.
Gorgeous.
Went right through Morgantown. Rich Rodriguez says, yeah, he says, I'm from that area. Nick Saban, the new coach of the Dolphins, is from there.
That's right. And, of course, Rich, 86 graduate of West Virginia, played for Don Nehlen.
Yeah.
So now they've slowed down the kicker, his thinking process. Got to be some butterflies out there. He's going to try it. They officially call it a 47-yard attempt. He says he's hit him from outside 60 in practice. This ain't practice. Trying to give his team the lead here late in the second quarter. Pat McAfee, the freshman from long range. Kick on the way. Boy, he got all of it. It's no good, though. He hit it a mile, but he didn't hit between the uprights. So Syracuse will take over with 16 seconds remaining.
That was a good try, though, even though it was a long kick for your true freshman. That was a good play offensively to try and get something on the board with your, you get your freshman kicker out there. Let him get one. You may have to try and kick one at the end of the game that's for the win and not just for. So it's good that he had one out there and got his feet wet a little bit.
Barrett Patterson's going to take a knee here, and Syracuse is going to head to the locker room tied up in their first game under the new coaching regime. As in front of a big crowd at home, they got a touchdown from Damian Rhodes, but they gave one up on a Perry Patterson interception, and that's where we are. Dead even, 7 apiece at halftime. Let's check in with Swanee.
Well, Coach, you're a man of your word. You gave your young freshman a chance to kick the long field goal. But let's talk about turnovers in the first half. Great effort by the Syracuse defense. How do you coach them not to make those turnovers?
Well, we just can't do that. We're killing ourselves with turnovers. 3 of them, 2 of them in the red zone, chance to score. Our veteran players, and those guys know better than that. And they're going after the ball. We just got to protect it better.
You seem to be doing a great job with both your quarterback using a right-hander, the rollout in that last drive. Both guys are getting a chance to play more of that in the second half.
They've been pretty composed for their first action, and we just got to get a little bit better run game going, and they're doing a good job on defense, but we got to bust some big plays on them.
Coach, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, fellas, halftime tied at 7 between the Mountaineers and the Orange of Syracuse. As we sent it from Brendan Carney to kick, he's been a busy guy today as a punter and now as the kicker as well. Vaughn Rivers and Antonio Lewis back deep. Good kick again. Lewis, this one's even deeper. This is about 8 yards in, and he won't bring this one out. Take a look at our Pacific Life first half statistics. And they're not going to be too pretty. You see that 174 that's going to come up for West Virginia, but you can negate that with the turnovers.
Third downs, like we said, 0 for 14. 3 and outs. West Virginia's had 2. Syracuse has punted the ball 6 times. Look at this. First down, Syracuse has only made 2 first downs in the entire first half. Time of possession's about the same, but Syracuse's problem is moving the ball. West Virginia's problem is holding on to the ball.
Adam Bednarik, who started the game at quarterback, number 11, Split time with Pat White. He's back in to start the third. He's been pretty effective as a runner, especially in the ballgame so far today. First down, Mountaineers, their own 20. Colson sticks his head in there, got about 3. That's it. James Weiss, who's had a busy day defensively, helps out on the stop again. Big number 90. Bob asked me earlier, he said, what did you like about yesterday? I thought he was talking about the players we ran into. You want to shake hands with a man, shake hands with James Weiss. First of all, your hand disappears. Second of all, you only got about 3 fingers left when he gets done with you. Here's a swing pass out in the flat. It's a first down to Darius Renard, a pickup of 11.
First, West Virginia spreads you left to right with all that spread offense. And then they pick it up, they snap the ball, and they throw it out to one of those wide receivers. It's like a sweep, a long handoff on a sweep. But all you got is like 3 or 4 defensive guys you got to beat.
Again, they don't huddle, at least for the majority of the time they don't. First down just inside their own 35. The give to Colson, one of his better runs of the day, as he knocks it out for about 9 yards. Steve Gregory made the stop. Colson, leading returning receiver, shared time in the backfield with K.J. Harris last year, and we mentioned he had 133 yards, a career high last year against Syracuse. In fact, West Virginia's had 5 straight years of one of their backs having 100 yards or more rushing individually against the Orange.
They've run well against Syracuse, averaging over 250 yards rushing the last 3 times they've played.
This is going to be looks like a first down run. Got stood up, but he only needed to get to the 45-yard line and apparently broke that plane. Calvin Smith made the stop, but West Virginia opens up the third quarter with a couple first downs. So they've got something working here early.
This is their MO. This has been their pass. Even when Rasheed Marshall was here the last couple of years, they were 7th in the nation rushing and 104th in the nation passing. So they've never relied on the pass a whole lot.
First down, the 45 from the gun. Going to throw a slip screen over on the far side and got it almost 5 yards to Brandon Miles.
West Virginia has come out, and we talked to Rodriguez, and he said that what we're going to have to do is see what Syracuse is doing and then make some adjustments. Now, the problem with that is we have a lot of young kids, and you can't adjust and change too much. But they've done very nicely, the offense and the defense. The problem with them are West Virginia. They just drop the ball, hold on to it.
He's a man in motion. And the pitch is to him. Kind of a neat looking play, but only got about 4 yards, and it will bring up a third down and at least a long 2, maybe 3. They spot it down at the 47-yard line. So
all right, let's see if we can get an offense to make a turn a third down into a first down here. 0 for 14 already.
We ever gone a whole half without a third down conversion? I don't remember one. Bednarik again, his center having a hard time hearing him. And whistles and flags. Brandon Miles may have taken off a little bit too early. That's the other thing it messes up.
Prior to snap, false start. On the offense, number 7, 5-yard penalty.
Good point.
Third down.
It comes from the noise in the stadium.
Swanee, you know that. You got to be looking at the line of scrimmage. You can't be just looking straight ahead because they can't hear the count.
Oh, that's right. You've got to look straight ahead, see where everybody else is going and what they're doing, then glance down the sideline, watch the ball, and receivers become like offensive linemen. They just, sit there. When the ball snaps, then you go. You just got to turn your head inside.
Here's the noise again. 3rd and 7 now. Bednarik rolls right. Gonna loft one out. Got a man open, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Tanar Jackson. Another West Virginia turnover. Well, that one just hung too long, Bob.
He underthrew it. He just needs to get the ball out there. He just underthrew this one. Take a look at the bottom of the screen down here.
He had his man beat.
Right here. If he just gets it out there, I think it's going to be a touchdown.
So now Syracuse will go to work. Bednarik on the run. You can just see a wobbly pass, and Tenar Jackson was all over it. Rhodes follows his blockers. A nice tough run. Damian Rhodes as he got out across the 20-yard line to the 21. The wrap on Damian, he says, you know, it wasn't fair. A lot of people thought I was a soft runner compared to Walter Reyes and some other guys around here. And so he has really chiseled that body. He's worked hard. He's up around between 211, 214. He used to be several pounds lighter than that. But a very interesting young guy, an engaging personality. We had a chance to spend quite a bit of time with him yesterday. And he was very focused for this game. We talked about the legacy of running backs here at Syracuse. And he knew full well about all of it. You don't come to Syracuse a running back and not know the history of the guys that have played before you in those helmets.
Yeah.
And we asked him, you know, who's the greatest running back that you've ever seen play? And he said, well, I used to get in arguments with my dad all the time because my dad said Jim Brown and I said Walter Payton. And then he said, I had a chance to meet Jim Brown a couple times. I said, he's pretty impressive. He said, when Jim Brown walks into a room, everybody listens.
Yeah, that's right.
First down since there was 14 and a half minutes left in the second quarter for Syracuse at the 25-yard line. Rhodes again. And a very tough yard or two. Damian Rhodes trying to get something going on the ground, and you look at some of the greats. Jim Brown started in the 50s, the late Ernie Davis, who passed away of leukemia after winning the Heisman Trophy, and Larry Zonka, who Grease played with for many years. Floyd Little with the Broncos after being here. Joe Morris, great back in the NFL. Walter Reyes was the most recent. Great legacy of running backs that have graced this campus. And number one wants to be the next in that line. He said, if I could just get mentioned with some of those guys, I'd be happy.
Yeah.
Timeout taken by Syracuse. Apparently a little bit of confusion again. But they're trying to get something going on offense. They're tied up right now with the Mountaineers at 7 apiece. The commish has joined us, the commissioner of the Big East Conference, Mike Drangisa. Good to see you, partner.
Good to see you, buddy.
This is the first official Big East game in the new Big East Conference, and you know, the atmosphere around here at Syracuse today, though the game hasn't exactly panned out like we want. Good feeling in here, though.
Well, they're excited. I think Greg and his staff have brought a real sense of excitement, and they've got a long-range plan, and I think their fans are excited about it.
Sit in here with us, Mike, for part of this series at least, as we take a look at Syracuse go back to work after the timeout offensively. The second down and 8. Patterson to give. Damian Rhodes off the right side. Didn't get much. Going to bring up another third down situation. And third down has not been very blessed in our cases today, as we're still looking for a third down conversion, I think. Mike, you know this well. Bob and I talked about it. You turn the ball over like West Virginia has, and you're not going to win very many ball games.
4 turnovers, 2 major penalties, and a missed field goal, and they're still in the game.
Yep, still in the game. Tied at 7. We got 10 minutes left and change.
Sounds like an analyst, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's ready. He's ready. Here's a big third down for the Orange. We're just inside the 29-yard line. Here comes a safety blitz. Patterson down the middle. Did his fullback or his tight end catch it? Nope, they're going to say incomplete. He trapped it. So Syracuse is going to have to give it up again. We talk about Mike, Greg coming in here has kind of restored some spirit again with Syracuse. They've gone to different uniforms. They've dressed up the Carrier Dome in its 25th anniversary. You know, you talk about seniority in the conference now, and Rich has only been around 4 years, and he's the dean of the coaches, considering how things have been shaken up.
Well, we've been through a lot. We talked about it at our coaches meeting. We've got a lot of new coaches, 5 to be exact.
There's a punt upcoming. Busy punter today. And he gets away a short, high kick. And they're going to have to clear out of the way and hope it doesn't hit anybody. And it didn't. It'll go out of bounds. And West Virginia will take over offensively. Let's talk about the conference. And Mike, you can take a look at the monitors over here. This is the new lineup. And the new teams that are involved. And I guess when you look at that, everybody looks at Louisville because of the season they had and what Bobby Petrino's done down there, that they're the newcomer with the most juice right now, I guess.
Well, short term they are, Brad, but you know, we did a lot of homework before we invited people. I look at a school like South Florida, who's just moved in a new facility, being in a hot football market like Tampa, and then Mark D'Antonio won a national championship at Ohio State as their defensive coordinator. We think long term that we have a number of programs that can be successful.
UConn Randy Itz has done a great job.
Randy's done a great job.
It's going to be fun to see some of the new guys, the new blood in this conference. Right now, the team that's won or shared the conference crown the last 2 years, West Virginia, has it back on offense, and they're trying to change that tie scoreboard at 7 apiece. And Colson on the carry has had a struggle of a day, sort of, as he wanted to do so well against the guys here from Syracuse after not being recruited out of Rochester, New York. And a fine back. But the defense has been tough today. Here's another time that they get it out and swing it out. And Renaud picks up another first down, pick up a 14.
Renaud limps off. It looks like he may have a cramp. I've seen a lot of cramps the last couple of days in college football.
Last year, Mike, West Virginia started off so well and were just rolling along, and then they hit the bump at the end of the season, or they'd have been the BCS team.
Well, they would have. They had injuries, and they just struggled to throw the ball. People were putting 8 and sometimes 9 people in the box, and Marshall was a great athlete, but their passing game just let them down at the end of last year.
How about the future of the conference? What are we going to see? Basketball, it's great. I know I'll be part of a big game that's going to be here, Louisville and Syracuse, coming up on ESPN Saturday night games. What's the future hold?
Well, a lot of excitement, I hope. We're excited about what we've done in restructuring and just looking to playing, Brad. We've just been so much talk the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's right.
Want to watch games, let the kids play, and you know, ultimately, whether it's football or basketball, we're going to be judged by the results of games.
Absolutely.
And that's the way it should be.
You and I have been on planes together, and we've talked this thing over and hashed it over a million times. The past is the past. Everybody will get along, be at the ACC and the Big East somewhere along the line, and there'll be a Sugar Bowl berth for one of these teams out of here.
Well, you know, you think about the Sugar Bowl and you think about what's happened in New Orleans. It's just, and I have some great friends in New Orleans. You know, Paul Houlihan, the executive director, and Sam and Melanie Zurich. Prayers are with them. I just hope everybody there is okay.
Right, exactly. Well said. We'll let you get back to the ball game.
Brad, Bob, thank you very much.
Mike Tranghese, the commissioner of the Big East, nice enough to join us here. Talk a little bit about the new conference alignment and the teams involved. Steve Gregory's heading to the locker room. Second time he's been banged up today.
I think he had just going to go and get some juice in there. I think he's got some cramps, getting some fluids, and come back out and get back in this ball game.
First down, meanwhile, for the Mountaineers. Play fake, Bednarik hammered, but he got the pass somehow to his fullback.
What a play.
Wow. Sam Weiss just leveled Bednarik, but he got it to Owen Schmidt somehow.
This is what, after you fake this ball, you got to come back and say, hey, listen, this guy's going to be, I've got to throw this ball quickly. Now you got to expect him to be there and get rid of it.
And he got it out to Schmidt, who rumbled down the sideline and picked up almost a first down. Second down and a yard. Picked up 9 on that play. Boy, Weiss has been all over the field today. He's some kind of player.
He is.
One of the captains of the defense for Syracuse. Second and short now. Colson in there at the tailback, but it'll just be Bednarik. He'll take it off the right side and pick up a first down at the 45-yard line. Swanee?
I just want to go back to the conversation we had with Weiss just the other day, and we were talking, you know, about speed. And folks at home, we want you to understand, we're not just saying speed because compared to other big guys. When you say he's fast, I said, how fast do you run a 40? He goes, me? He goes, yeah. He goes, oh, 4.47 seconds. I used to see that a lot as a wide receiver.
Yeah, he's a defensive lineman.
As Bob said, Swanee saw it at the 35-yard line. Isn't that what you said?
Yeah. No, we were talking about 4.3 speed. I saw 4.3 at the 35-yard line.
Oh, boy.
Swanee ran the 40 and about 35 yards into it. It'd be 4.3, 4.4.
Oh. Second down and 10 coming up. Bednarik, boy, I tell you, for a guy that's had limited action, never started, a sophomore, he has been one tough cookie today because he's 12 out of 17 throwing the ball, and he had the best run of the ball game in the first quarter, a 28-yard, and it wasn't a scramble. It was taking guys with him along the way. It's a tough customer. Throws down the middle. Got his man. First down inside the 25. And it's Brandon Miles. You talk about toughness. You don't have a name like Bednarik unless you're tough. Adam Bednarik is a second cousin of a guy we talked about earlier. He's called Concrete Charlie. Remember that picture? Chuck Bednarik? Yeah, that's Frank Gifford. I'm sorry, Frank, laying there. Member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame and one of the great players of all time with the World Championship Eagles of the 60s season with Norm Van Brocklin and those guys. And here he is, his second cousin, is sticking his kisser in there for a quarterback today, I'll tell you that much.
The thing he's done is he's completed a high percentage of passes, got some good rushing yards, and operated this offense.
He almost threw that one away, though. Anthony Smith almost picked it off. He's the captain of the secondary, and it was a bootleg again, and his man was open, but he didn't get enough air under that one.
Anthony Smith has been everywhere today.
He said in past years, he's a big hitter back there. He's a Thorpe candidate.
He's a four-year starter. He intercepted some balls last year. 3 of them, led the team in interceptions.
He said over the years he's gone from wanting to make the big hit to rather getting his hands on the football. Almost got an interception there. 7:13 to go. 7-7 game. Second down at 10. 5 receiver group here for Bednarik. Tough roll to the left again, and hello, Kellen Pruitt. You take too many of those shots, and you won't go that way again.
Watch the top of your screen. Pruitt's going to just come around the corner, and down he goes.
Ooh. Face mask to face mask right here. Bang. They're hitting people. We're not scoring many points, folks, but we're hitting people. Third down at 16. Crowd comes to life for the Syracuse defense. They might have jumped into the neutral zone.
Yes, they did.
Flair out to Colson, trying to cut back inside, and does it pretty well inside the 30 to the 29 with a penalty marker at the line of scrimmage. Travis Garrett, the offensive tackle on that left side.
Offsides on the defense. Number 95. 5-yard penalty from the previous line of scrimmage. Replay. Third down.
And he was up there matched up with Nick Santiago, who jumped.
That gives West Virginia another opportunity to pick up a first down and get a little bit closer in case they have to kick a field goal.
They haven't walked the penalty off yet. I think it was going to be third down at about 11, and there they finally walk it off. Now just to the 25-yard line. Again, third downs have been hard to come by today. Third down conversions. Third downs have come easily. Conversions haven't. Again has to come forward for his center to see that he's ready. Pumps once, may take off the other way, but he's got a long way to go.
He went diving for it.
I tell you, anybody that says he's not the runner of the two quarterbacks, I'm not so sure. He lays out at the end, and he's about a yard short. But look at this.
Well, I like the way he puts the ball in the other hand away from the defender that's going to hit him, and holds on to it, dives for the first down. A much shorter field goal now for McAfee.
A 33-yard attempt for the freshman. He missed from 47 near the end of the second quarter. This to try to give the Mountaineers a 3-point lead. McAfee, kick on the way, and this one's got plenty on it. It's perfect. So there's the first 3 points of his college career. And Rich Rodriguez' team has the lead for the first time today. Good-looking drive by the Mountaineers. Stalled a little bit, but they'll take anything they can get right now, and the 3 is good enough to take the lead.
John Saunders back in New York with a Taco Bell update. Louisville facing Kentucky. Brian Brom goes in from 1 yard out. Our own Aaron Taylor thinks Louisville can run the table to the national championship game this year in their first year in the Big East. 7-0 lead, Brad.
That's the nice thing about having played Brian Brom so much, John, last year, that he got looks in every conceivable situation for Stephon LaFleur. It wasn't just cleanup duty. And a lot of coaches are not comfortable doing that, but Brom, his brother's there coaching him.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like it. A lot of red, white, and blue in that game, huh?
Yep, you got that right.
Yeah, Howard Schnellenberger used to do that all the time. Early in the season, the first 2 or 3, 4 games, he'd always get the second string quarterback in there, even if he had a starter that had been starting for 2 or 3 years, just in case that starter got hurt in the 5th, 6th, 7th game. Then he would have some guy with some experience to put in.
I tell you what, they're not complaining about that setup anymore in Athens, Georgia, after DJ Shockley's debut yesterday as the starter.
Yep.
And I think he should be the player of the week. You asked me who I liked. I think he threw for 5 and ran for 1, didn't he? Something like that.
He did. Something like that.
Vince Young had a big day quarterback for Texas. Matt Leinart, of course, you would expect to have a big day for USC. Those are some of the quarterbacking highlights from yesterday.
The low lights would be the quarterbacks at Auburn and Oklahoma.
Exactly.
You know, the new ones starting out.
McAfee to kick. He's just given his team the lead. Kareem Jones and Curtis Brinkley are back deep. Brinkley, a true freshman as well, out of Philadelphia. Nice kick. Over to the goal line to Jones. Kareem Jones. Well, I don't know if he got to the 20 or not. I don't think he did. Got to about the 19-yard line. That's where Syracuse will work offensively, now trailing by 3. The Dr. Pepper College Football Kickoff Weekend on ABC Sports, brought to you by Pontiac. Go online to vote for this week's Pontiac game-changing performance. Wrangler, makers of Wrangler Jeans Company, a new generation of Wrangler. And Allstate, a proud sponsor of the Bowl Championship Series. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Lynn Swan, and our ABC crew here in Syracuse on that Sunday where the team at home is down for the first time today, 10-7. Jones, who just returned that kick. They fake it to him. They throw it out complete to the tight end. Kowaleski, a big target.
Yeah, get him outside the pocket. He's more comfortable outside the pocket.
Let's check in with Swanee.
Well, thank you, Brad. I'm on the sideline with the athletic director for Syracuse, Dr. Darrell Gross, and you were instrumental in helping build the USC program, national championships back-to-back, but you have to be happy with the outcome, all the people here this afternoon.
Well, we tried to create a lot of momentum and buzz in town, and I think we've accomplished that. We got a great coach in Greg Robinson, and the people have responded and showed up and showed that they could back this program.
I mentioned all those things about USC because you came from a program with a lot of history and tradition. You did a lot in terms of development and marketing. What's in store for Syracuse down the road?
Well, I think the same type of things. I mean, this place has so much great tradition and history, and we can build upon that, you know, and we're enhancing things here. It's not like you have to recreate it. The Syracuse name is a great brand name in all college sports. And so we've been able to enhance it, and we're going to take it to another level.
A lot of people will think about Southern Cal being in Los Angeles, a major city, but you've done quite a lot to reach out to New York City from Syracuse, haven't you?
Absolutely. We've got a lot of alums and fans and friends down in New York City as well as all over the great state of New York. And we want the people in New York to know that Syracuse is their team, and we're their home team. And so we want to represent for the whole East Coast, and that's what we're trying to do.
Well, I know coming into the stadium, all the students here were yelling and cheering for the coach when he brought the team on the field. And I asked a few of them, they said, why are you so excited? They said, we're excited about the change and the possibility of success here at Syracuse.
Well, we believe it. We believe we can dream that way, and just like we did at SC. You know, a lot of people say we can never win a national championship there again. This place has the same kind of ingredients: history, tradition, Jim Brown, Ernie Davis, all those kind of folks. Like we had the great Lynn Swan at SC. They've got those greats here, and we can build on those things. And the people believe it. I believe it. We've done it before, and I think it's going to happen again.
Well, Darrell, all the best to you. Good luck down the road.
Thanks, Lynn. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Darrell's done a nice job in having that presence in New York City. They've got some banners and billboard-type things up there with the Syracuse logo on it. He's established a radio station in the city that will carry the Syracuse football games and may indeed carry their basketball games by the time that season rolls around, too. So a lot of changes, a lot of new enthusiasm here. And Paul Pasqualoni, of course, have been here 14 years as the coach. In the last couple of years, everybody thought everything got a little bit stale, but it's kind of a new era beginning. They just like to see the offense start to click, and it had while Darrell and Sway were talking there for a couple of first downs, but that play blew up in Perry Patterson's face.
It's a screen pass. You mentioned, right, coming off of 2 first downs, you see the lineman going out. The receiver, I think that's Jones in there, falls down. And now it's another 3rd and long. But one of the things that Dr. Gross did, the first thing he got here, he got a call from Pete Carroll at USC and says, hey,
I got a guy for you.
I got a guy. Why don't you talk to Greg Robinson?
3rd down and long here. Let's see if the Orange can pick up a 3rd down conversion. Flare it out, Jones. A lot of Mountaineer defenders out there. And they make the stop. It'll bring up another 4th down as we bring up John Saunders. John?
Brad, and the Pontiac game-changing performance update. This is one of 4 nominees for the Pontiac game-changing performance. That's Tim Bracey picked E.B. Halsey 13 yards as Illinois beats Rutgers in overtime. Vote for your Pontiac game-changing performance at ESPN.com. Keyword Pontiac. Brad.
Thanks, John. While we were getting ready for the game and being up to shoot the practices and walkthroughs and our meetings yesterday, we heard that Illinois score, and we all kind of rolled our eyes and said, oh, Ron, that's not a way to start your Illinois career, but they came back and won the game. From the 15 and out across the 20 to the 21 is Anthony Mims. So now West Virginia's got the lead and the ball here late in the 3rd quarter. 2:51 remaining. There's the little Mountaineer. Meaningless this week. It might be a 3.5-hour diversion, but it's not even that this week with what's going on down the Gulf. And they still don't have, and finally the whistle. I can't believe they didn't blow that dead a long time ago. And now Colson gets in the face of Chris Thorner, and officials have to jump in there. And that play should have been whistled dead about 8 seconds before that, and they wouldn't have had that situation. But then I'm not a referee. Let's check in with Lynn.
Well, Bob and Brad, you're talking about the Red Cross and relief, and certainly West Virginia has a strong support group on campus. Red Cross, they continue to do work, and there are a couple of students from Tulane and Xavier that will be going to school at West Virginia, as West Virginia will look into its college system to try and enroll more students. I also had a chance to talk to Dr. Nancy Carter, the chancellor here at Syracuse. They have 300 students they've enrolled that were at Tulane or Xavier, plus another 200 in the overseas program, and they're waiving tuition for all of those students. So that's 500 students who are now currently enrolled at Syracuse University in their program. So that's extraordinarily generous, but the kind of necessary support for those people that's going to be needed across the country.
Great point. 3rd down and 7. Under a minute and a half in the 3rd quarter. West Virginia 0 for 8 on 3rd down conversions. This one won't be easy.
You get the feeling if Syracuse is going to win this game, the defense is going to have to lead the way.
Bednarik flush, throws it away. And West Virginia will have to punt. Corner again was great. Some havoc, big number 56, as he had a great defensive series that time. Big fella rumbling off. There he goes. 312-pounder.
Yeah, that Drame, Weish, Lacasse, all 4 of those front 4 on the defensive line have played well today.
Brady now to punt on 4th down. And he's down inside his own 10. This is only our 14th punt of the game. So for you punt, pass, and kick aficionados. Penalty marker down. Brady drew a flag. Anthony Smith, I think, got it.
Smith, I think, trying to make something happen.
Now is it running into the kicker or roughing the kicker? Running into won't be as damaging. Roughing will be bad.
It was 4th and 7.
Yep.
Running into is a 5-yard penalty.
Still haven't heard officially from referee Gerard McGinn.
Yeah, you've got to stay away from that one leg that the punter is up on. I mean, they're protecting the punter. You just got to be careful. You just avoided a serious injury right there.
Running into the kicker on the defense. 5-yard penalty for the previous spot. Replay, 4th down.
So that's 4th down and 2. That's the point we were making.
It's not a first down, but it was a poor punt. So West Virginia will try it again.
Anthony Smith is the kick blocker on this team, be it punts, field goals. He's got 5 in his career, and he's lucky.
Yeah.
He got caught with his hand in the cookie jar a little bit there.
You've got to take chances like that. And you're probably going to get some rough in the kickers.
Like you said, if it isn't their defense, their special teams might have to win.
That's right. You know, it's the only touchdown the offense scored was set up. They only had to go 18 yards.
Right. That was following one of their own punt returns and a personal foul. There you see number 53, Magro again. The linebacker open up that swinging door where Brady is punter and then close it back. And now they're going to do the running boots kick again. Brady does a real nice job with that one. As you might expect, a little better than his quarterback did. He knocked it down inside the 25-yard line. Tomorrow night, Dr. Pepper kickoff weekend on ABC wraps up. One of the great rivalries in college football. Should be a dandy. Number 9 Miami against number 14 Florida State down in Tallahassee. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Right here on ABC Sports. And the Noles and the Canes, 50th meeting tomorrow night. Miami has won a bunch in a row and leads at 29-20.
Larry Coker's done a great job, hasn't he, down there?
Sure has.
Bobby Bowden, what's this, his 39th or 40th season? Something like that.
He's won more than anybody in Division 1A. Syracuse longest play was on that previous possession, a 13-yard pass play to the tight end. Here's Damian Rhodes, and he put it on the ground. And they say Syracuse got on top of it. So there was an opportunity for West Virginia, too. Mike Lorello coming up from that bandit spot. He put the helmet in there, and there came the ball.
Yeah. Did a nice job of pulling the ball out. That's with McLee, huh? It was number 43, McLee, that actually pulled it out.
Lane in motion on a 2nd down and 5. Now it's Jones. And Jones has stood up, and a flag down on the far side of the field. That's going to be possibly the final play of this quarter. It's the 2nd time we've had a penalty as we hit triple zeros up there at the end of a quarter.
Eagle shift on the offense. Number 81. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, 2nd down.
What Syracuse is trying to do is very, very difficult. You got a new head coach who is a defensive coach, defensive minded, and he brings in the West Coast offense. And the guys that are running that, Brian Periani, he was a tight ends coach at the Denver Broncos. He had never run an offense before. Then you've got, I think, yeah, he's in the middle there. And they got Major Applewhite, who was a graduate assistant in Texas, was an outstanding player, is going to be an outstanding coach. They're going through this for the first time. Periani's calling plays for the first time. Patterson's running this spread offense.
That's
for the first time.
Quarter.
I mean, it's a work in progress. It's going to take time. Look what happened in Nebraska. Bill Callahan comes in. It takes him a while.
Well, we got 15 minutes left. West Virginia's got the lead over Syracuse at the end of 3, 10-7. Our presentation of college football continues after this message and a word from our ABC station. You're watching Dr. Pepper's College Football Kickoff Weekend on ABC Sports. From Morgantown into Syracuse, the Mountaineers looking to pull off a win on the road. But the Orange, with a new atmosphere, a new coach, hope that they can win their first game in Big East play. It's been a hard-hitting battle led by the defense and the special teams. Too many turnovers, enough to make a coach look like that. And that's where we are as we head into the 4th quarter. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Lynn Swan on our ABC crew. Mountaineers lead 10-7. We start the 4th and final quarter from the Carrier Dome. Syracuse has a 2nd down situation. Perry Patterson with a 2nd and 11. Has been ineffective for the most part throwing the football today in this new Syracuse offense. And they try some option from yesteryear, and they almost gave it up. little throwback to last year.
Yep. And they haven't been working on that a lot, I know. It's got to be very frustrating for Robinson. Yeah. I'll tell you what, the West Virginia defense aggressiveness is blowing up this whole offense for Syracuse.
That was Mike Lorello who knocked the ball out of there. Patterson was fortunate to get it back because he ran right into number 23 and then found his own fumble.
But I think I like the call. I like trying what we're good at. Lorello just made a good play.
Quick slant lane. He took a shot after dropping the football too in the secondary. Jamal Adai. A little bit behind him, and it's 4th down, and it's again a punting situation from their own goal line for Brendan Carney.
Yeah, well, the offense obviously is not doing well for Syracuse. 12 possessions. They've had 10 punts. They had 1 interception that was returned for a touchdown against them, and they've scored 1 touchdown. So not much production today.
So Carney will be near his own goal line when he kicks this one. Rivers and Lewis both back to return. And takes a big West Virginia bounce. They're going to have great field position. I think they threw the beanbag down at about the 45-yard line, though it looked like it bounced closer to the 43. Only a 30-yard kick. And the Mountaineers now with the lead of 3 with 14 minutes to play in great field position. They will spot it at the 43. Let's check in with Lynn.
Well, Brad, we were talking about the hurricane, and the West Virginia Mountaineers have about 13 players from that region, New Orleans, Mobile, they're down there. But we want to talk about one in particular, a defensive lineman named Craig Wilson. He's a junior, wears number 66. His parents and grandfather were down there, had some problems, and they got to a shelter in Baton Rouge. But his uncle, Alvin Wilson Jr., was in a hospital in New Orleans, but was transferred to another place, and they have not refound him. So if anybody out there knows where his uncle, Alvin Wilson Jr., is, please contact West Virginia University Athletic Department and let Craig Wilson know that his uncle, where he is and where he can be found.
Wow. Well, Craig played down at John Curtis Christian High School down there and lived really near the airport in New Orleans, kind of right across the freeway there in River Ridge, Louisiana. So it's basically right across the Mississippi and across the highway right there. So very close to where all the tragedy took place. And man, if anybody knows the whereabouts, please call West Virginia. That's any help we can give you on TV. We'll give you. White back in at quarterback. He's just going to run it. And they have that play in there a la Michael Vick, sort of, and he squirted out there and got some pretty good yardage on it.
I think Rich Rodriguez's philosophy right now is offensively, don't do anything to help Syracuse.
Just
don't
run the
turn
ball.
it over. Don't throw it up for grabs. You know, make Syracuse beat us with their offense and not with their special teams or by a stupid mistake. We've turned the ball over 3 times today. Don't help them anymore.
Looking to the sideline. And they set up with Waltney again, the freshman. The tailback in the eye. Big 3rd down and 1. It is Waltney. Puts his head down and just barrels his way for the 1st down. He met Kelvin Smith head to head, and the freshman took it for a 1st down at the 30-yard line. Tell you what, 2nd time he's carried on a 3rd down and short in a conference game and a big game. I got to give him credit. They must like this kid a lot to let him handle a football.
Well, they've got 4 good running backs. 2 of them are true freshmen, so it's tough to get everybody a lot of reps. But every time he's been in there, he's been impressive.
Drame is the guy that's shaken up Jason Gwaltney. We talked about the shot of him. Single season record for rushing touchdowns and points for New York. Single game, 437 yards he had in one game and 9 touchdowns. 54 points he scored in a single game, and they really are high on him. He had 7,800 career yards and 2,845 touchdowns in his senior season. They already have that number 14 in the stores in the bookstores and in the department stores
Yeah.
in Morgantown. So
Every time you, it looks like Drame's are going to be all right. But every time you start telling me about high school stats, I start saying, well, who'd they play against? I mean, who was the competition?
they're on the sideline and they're working on his lower leg as Drame, who's had a big game at defensive tackle for Syracuse, being helped off. By the way, that 3rd down and 1 that was picked up is our first 3rd down conversion of the ball game. 1 for 21 combined between the two teams. We'll take him whenever we can get him. 1st and 10. White rolling left, throws, got a man wide open. Colson inside the 15 and down near the 11-yard line. Colson out of the backfield to the left-hander, put it right on him.
Here's Colson right here. He's just going to slide through the play action fake in the backfield. Slides through. He sneaks out of there. Now he's wide open downfield. Look at this. Look at the spot. Good play. Nice play action.
At the 11-yard line. 1st and 10. White to Colson on the handoff. And he lost the ball. Syracuse says they have it. No signal yet. It was on the ground. You could see it. I don't believe they blew it dead.
No, they didn't blow it dead, or else those officials wouldn't be climbing in there.
That's right. And now the unpiling begins.
There's a lot of fighting and scratching going on at the bottom of that pile.
Orange has it. Wow. Turnovers kill you. 5 West Virginia turnovers, 2 in the red zone.
Take a look at this.
That ball's already out.
Out early, yeah. How many is that for Colson? He had a couple fumbles. I tell you what, if you're a running back or any player on the field, if you put it on the ground, you're not going to get on the field because you just cannot turn the football over. West Virginia has outplayed Syracuse by far. I mean, it isn't even close. The only thing that has made it close are those 5 turnovers.
Remember, this is the guy that wanted so badly to play well against a team from his home area. And I think they're going to look at this one, but I don't really know what they're going to look at because that ball was clearly out. He was still running forward. But we'll take another look, and they'll have a look. That's what it's here for. Replay, that is. The ball is already out right there.
I think they're just seeing if they can. Well, no, they wouldn't see who recovered at the bottom of the pile. Just how much West Virginia has dominated this game. They've almost total yardage of almost 300 yards. Syracuse has 84 total yardage.
Anthony Smith, the ball hawk of a safety, number 20, and he was the closest guy that looked to it.
There's indisputable video evidence that there was a fumble on the play. Syracuse will retain the ball, 1st and 10. There was a flag on the play. Dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct on Syracuse, number 20. The foul will be at half the distance to the goal, 1st and 10.
That's Anthony Smith. He's recovered 2 and forced 1, but the penalty puts his offense in a pretty bad spot.
Yeah, and if you're a Mountaineer, you got to say, all right, we backed them up. Okay, we'll be back here in a minute. You know, we're going to have 3 plays. We're going to stop this offense. They're going to punt the ball, and we're going to be right back down there again.
Yeah. There's where Perry Patterson will huddle the orange. There's the red zone turnovers that we talked about. Inside the 5 for Syracuse offensively, trailing by 3 with 11:39 to play. Rhodes knocked down at the 5. Great tackle out there by Adai again. Boy, he is a player. He's really a player. Always around the football. Way back when he was a youngster, he had 10 tackles, an interception, and a fumble recovery against Syracuse. He's playing like
Go ahead and run this from the end zone. It's going to be a play to our left. Adai is number 4. Watch as he fills the hole right here. Right here, he's going to fill the hole. That's what safeties do. He plays the pass and he plays the run.
He's on the Ronnie Lott list for secondaries for the best player in the country. Ronnie'd like the way he plays the game, I'll tell you that much. Out to the 10 was Breon Evans. Pickup of about 4. Boo McClee out there to help on the stop. And now here it is, as Bob said. If you can't pick up third downs, there's no big harm that you drop the ball down there if you can force a punt. At the conclusion of today's game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game. Chevy will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund.
This was in the area where you pick them up. 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6.
Patterson inside his own 5, letting it go long for Beadle. It's intercepted. Picked off by Anthony Mims. Ball goes right back to West Virginia.
Well, it's about the same spot they would have got it probably if they would have punted it.
Yeah, roughly.
I'm sure that right about now, Perry Patterson's wondering where that power option offense is.
We'll see if the West Virginia offense can hold on to it like they haven't been able to today. We'll check that when we come back. West Virginia, the lead by 3. They've got the ball. 10:09 remaining in the 4th quarter. Second straight time they're going to start in Syracuse territory at the 44-yard line. All the fans in orange hoping that their defense can make a play, or maybe the special teams, because the offense has been stymied all day long. Pat White at quarterback gives it off to Gwaltney, the freshman. Stood up in the hole at the 41 by Kelvin Smith and Ryan Lacasse, but he got a decent gain of about 4 yards on the play. You get the feeling right now, if West Virginia gets down here and gets a field goal, their defense is just going to tee off and say, let's see you score a touchdown on us.
Yeah, well, it's all been one-sided the second half. Syracuse offense has not done anything, and the defense has been on the field most of the second half.
Syracuse shows blitz, handoff down to the 37 to Gwaltney. Chris Thorner in on the tackle.
Field position in the second half has been big in favor of the Mountaineers. They've started on average from their own 37, while Syracuse has started inside their own 15.
Syracuse fans know football. They know that their defense has got to get a stop or get a turnover to give them any hope maybe today, and they're all up again. 3rd down and 3. White may just run this thing. Nope, it's going to throw. Oh, Anthony Smith with the hit.
It's a good call by Syracuse defensively. Greg Robinson is the defensive coordinator. It was 3rd and short. He blitzed, not giving the quarterback long to make a decision, and he had tight coverage. There's Smith, number 20. Right on top of him.
Bednarik out there, and again, you'd think that maybe he'll do the first kick again, the quick kick. Here it comes. He's done a nice job of that today, and this time even better. Renaud got down there, almost caught that thing on the fly. Would have been the best catch of the day. It's inside the 5-yard line.
You know what? It's very impressive the way they work. I look immediately to Rich Rodriguez. He's got these guys organized, playing hard, playing aggressive. Very impressive for their first time out.
The Dr. Pepper College Football Kickoff Weekend on ABC Sports, brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, one taste and you get it. Chevy, the new Chevrolets, and American Revolution. And all states. Are you in good hands? Tell you what, if West Virginia had better hands today, they wouldn't be only up by 3 points.
5 turnovers. There's West Virginia total yards, almost 300 yards. Syracuse hasn't cracked 100 yet.
But still in the ball game, and they've got the ball back. Longest play was that throw to Kowaleski, the fullback. 13-yard pickup in the previous quarter.
And Syracuse has not had good field position most of the game, but in the second half, it's been inside their own 15-yard line.
Rhodes at tailback. That's a tight end in motion. Rhodes. Boy, the West Virginia defense is tough. Jay Henry put his head in there. The junior out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he makes the stop.
Take a look at that defense. It's a 3-3-5, as we mentioned, and if you play that, those guys are going to be moving. It's a linebacker defense. The linebackers are filling and making all the plays.
Henry out of that great football program in Jenks, Oklahoma, with Alan Trimble and all the Class 6A titles they've won down there. Rocky Kalmus and guys like that played there. Here's Patterson throwing nobody home out there. Kowaleski was the closest guy. Keelan Dykes was putting the pressure on.
And Henry had good coverage. A linebacker. Good play action, roll out. I mean, everything that the Orange tries, the Mountaineers have something for it.
Jay Henry, the linebacker, not only a good player, smart player. Never had anything but an A since elementary school. Not even one in college. His buddies said, couldn't you get a B once in a while? You're making us look bad.
What kind of classes is he taking?
Well, I'm sure he's taking pretty good classes.
I'm sure he is.
You always have to question that, don't you? Third down and 12. From the end zone, Patterson in trouble. It's a safety. 2 more for West Virginia. And it's Ernest Hunter, the nose tackle. And now the Mountaineers will get the ball back, too.
Well, you can't imagine a much worse day than this for Syracuse offensively.
We kept saying, and we said it on the previous possession, hey, we'll get the ball back because maybe they'll have to punt. Well, this is even better. Perry Patterson in trouble, and down he goes.
And you got a great look right there of all he saw was a big defensive nose tackle. A linebacker coming in the gap. You can't get outside because the end has containment. Take a look at what he sees.
One of the things that Syracuse was very concerned about when you look at the West Virginia defense is their speed. Their ability, they're a strong football team, but it's just their ability to attack at a very quick pace as a team, as a complete unit, and players don't get out of position, then they respond with that speed. There's nothing you can do about that.
Yep. You know, I bet you one thing. As many times as Brendan Carney has either kicked off or punted today, he was hoping not to have a free kick coming up.
Yes. Yeah, that's not good.
So they'll have to kick it from the 20-yard line. 12-7 now. And if the Mountaineers go to the ground game, and if they even get 3 points, that would still put Syracuse in the position not only have to get a touchdown, but a 2-point conversion to tie the game. Right now they trail by 5 with 8:02. Tough day for Perry Patterson. Perry, there's going to be better days. At least we hope so.
And I was just looking for better days. And next Saturday, 6 days from now, they play at home against Buffalo. And after that, they have Virginia at home. So their first 3 games are at home. You got to do a lot of work between now and next Saturday on that offense.
First time in 50 years that Syracuse opens with 3 straight home games. Here's the free kick at the 31. Vaughn Rivers. And Rivers is rolling down the sideline. Let the Rivers flow all the way inside the 30 to the 28. 41-yard free kick return.
This kid is not very big.
He may not be Pac-Man Jones, but he's doing a pretty nice job on returns today.
5'9" and 165 pounds. You can't see him. Maybe that's why they can't get him.
Can't see him, can't catch him.
Yeah.
Finally, they tackled him, but not before he got inside the 30. Nice run back, young man. So now, great field position, under 8 minutes to go. Bednarik back in at quarterback. You can almost feel Rich Rodriguez's wheels turning right now. The ball game's ours if we don't drop it. Nice hit by Drame, who was shaken up earlier and came back in. Twisted knee and all. He's still playing. And makes a big play there. Time permitting, Thrifty Car Rental postgame report. John, Pony, and Aaron, they'll be in New York. Kind of look ahead to what's coming up tonight and tomorrow night and what is going on. For instance, right now, Louisville in action. NC State and Virginia Tech play tonight. And our Dr. Pepper kickoff weekend concludes tomorrow night with Miami and Florida State. So John Craig and Aaron will be along if we have time. 7:15 is our time remaining in the fourth quarter. Bednarik lofts one's got his man. On the run, Pernell Williams.
I like that play. That's a fancy play.
And it seems like every time Kellen Pruitt, the linebacker, comes with that pressure, that spot's open, and Bednarik knows it.
Here is Williams. He's going to slide this way. They're going to fake it the other way. Fake it to the left, sneaks out to the right side.
Throws it right over Pruitt.
And there he is. Just throws it right out there wide open.
That's been pretty successful today. Another third down. They didn't quite get the first. Third down, maybe a little bit less than a yard, and they still come with a spread offense. And it's going to be Bednarik straight ahead. I don't think so. I don't know. Very close. I would think that he is a length of the football short, but we're a long ways away, and our yellow line maybe will tell us better. The officials will tell us for sure. I'm going to take a look at it. Now, you go for the field goal here and try to make it an 8-point ball game with a freshman kicker on the right hash. Might be a moot point if they have first down, but I don't think they do. Not even the length of the football. Just the hook and a couple of links. All right, Rich, what are we going to see? There's your freshman kicker. The last time he had this situation, he gave it to his freshman bruising tailback.
Well, he said he lost a lot of seniors last year, and he says about half the travel squad had never been on the travel squad before that he brought up here. Got a lot of young players.
Here they go. McAfee puts his teeth guard back in the side of his helmet. Bednarik stays in there. Fourth down, about 6 inches.
He'll go under center here.
And he might take it himself. He's been the toughest runner on the field today. There he goes. He didn't need much. He didn't get much, but I think he got enough. He did. It's going to be a first down. So we're going to work our way under 6 minutes now. And the Mountaineers are in the red zone. I don't think they're as worried about that as they are just burning up that clock right now. They lead 12-7. And they'll take it any way they can get it, getting out of Syracuse with a win, considering how many times they put the ball on the new field turf here in the Carrier Dome today. They're 2 for 2 on fourth down, and they're 1 for 12 on third down today. Courtesy Pat McGrath. That's a great stat.
It is.
Boy, Syracuse still hitting on defense. Penalty flags fly in at the end of the play.
Short game near the 15-yard line. There was a flag.
It's holding against West Virginia. West Virginia has won 3 straight over Syracuse, and the last time anybody was able to do that was Bobby Bowden as the head coach of the Mountaineers back in the early 70s.
Holding on the offense, number 49. 10-yard penalty from the previous line of scrimmage. Replay, first down.
No West Virginia coach has ever beaten Syracuse 4 times in a row. Rich Rodriguez can become the first 5 minutes and 43 seconds from now.
Well, I'm sure Greg Robinson will remember this day. Probably not for anything. Anything positive.
First down at 20. They walked off the penalty. Play action. Bednarik going to roll and keep it on his own. Boy, he is a tough runner at the 20-yard line. You know, I don't know if the 2 quarterback situation will be something that Rich will stay with all season long. I think both these kids have looked good at times today. And you look back in the '93 season, West Virginia went to the Sugar Bowl, and they had Jake Kelchner and they had Darren Studstill, and they used both of them pretty much all year long. Now, I don't know if you like to do that. Maybe Rich doesn't have a problem doing that. I think both of them have played well, especially this guy.
Yeah, I think Bednarik has played well, but I think White deserves a chance to continue playing.
Remember, he had the best pass of the day, probably. Now Bednarik got loose again. And he's inside the 15 down to the 13-yard line.
I mean, this kid has run the ball quite a few times, and he's going to be battered and bruised. You better have somebody else. that can play quarterback.
Yeah.
When your quarterback runs this much.
You don't see many guys, though, on their first start that just stick their nose in there, and he hasn't seemed rattled at all. And even when things break down, he finds something to do with it.
This is his 12th carry of the day for about 75 yards.
He's got my vote. 3rd down and 4. Another 3rd down. They just keep cropping up. On the run. Inside the 10 is going to be really close for Pernell Williams. And they had to measure the last time. This time looks like another half-yard short. They finally spotted down. They put it right at the 9, so it's almost a yard short. Now you're on the left hash. And you got a 26-yard field goal. Do you take it or you keep ramming your head in there?
They're going to talk about it.
I think they are. But they did run about 4.5 minutes off the clock on this drive. They'll think it over while we do too. Come back with us. 3:31 to play. Mountaineers by 5. Our Pacific Live game summary, a game of turnovers. Way too many for West Virginia as they put it on the ground 5 times, including a couple of fumbles by Colson. But Syracuse has been just as good at giving it back. That interception might have been the last chance they had in this quarter. And then the safety with Barry Patterson running for his life. Ernest Hunter with a safety. That's where we are right now, 12-7. The discussion during the timeout was made. Rich Rodriguez doesn't look totally happy, but what he has done is sent out his freshman kicker again. And he's going to try a field goal of 26 yards. He hit one earlier, missed one from 47.
The
hit from 33.
The Orange best chance may be for a block and run it the rest of the way.
They're trying to give them an 8-point lead. Kick is up, and it's perfect. Well, the freshman kicker has 2 big kicks. I do too.
I like him a lot.
He's going to be a weapon before his time's done in Morgantown. But there's still hope for Syracuse because a touchdown and a 2-point conversion would tie it up. All right, Mike, we'll see you in a few minutes. 3:26 remaining in the ball game here at Syracuse. And Perry Patterson knows what lies ahead, needing to go the length of the field, depending on his kick return, and needs a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Here's the guy that has scored the last 6 points of the ball game, Pat McAfee, the freshman. His 2 field goals, plus an interception return for a touchdown for West Virginia, has been their scoring. At the 2-yard line is Steve Gregory. Gregory out across the 20, got out to about the 24-yard line, 22-yard kick return as we check in with John in New York. John?
We're at time now for the singular player of the year update. Could it be Omar Jacobs? 458 yards and 5 touchdowns passing. Text the word vote to 87654 now from your singular phone for your ballot and a chance to win a trip to the national championship game. That's your singular player of the week update.
I almost forgot about Brian Calhoun's 250 and change and 5 touchdowns for Wisconsin in that same game. You can't have 2 better individual performances in one game than those 2
Especially
guys.
for Jacobs, a quarterback going into Madison, Wisconsin, and
hostile territory,
playing that well. I was very impressed with that.
Pickup of 11 as Syracuse out to the 35-yard line, still with some hope here with 3 minutes to play. Patterson now changing things up. The clock winding down. 5 seconds on the play clock. Throws a quick pass high, almost picked off. The ball was loose momentarily. Rice Moss. There was 2 guys out there. He got his hands on it, and then it sort of squirted up in the air. He's lucky it wasn't intercepted. I guess it's about time for us to look at who's hot, in your opinion.
You got to throw in USC. I mean, 2-time national champion. Notre Dame, very impressive. Very impressed with Charlie Weiss and his Georgia Tech beating Auburn, TCU beating Oklahoma, and Clemson coming back to win that game. Some of the teams that are hot early on in the season.
Patterson. That's a who's not pass there, intended for Lane. Who isn't hot then, Grease?
Well, You might imagine Oklahoma is not very hot. Auburn, Pittsburgh, very similar to this situation here in Syracuse. BYU lost to Boston College at home and Washington losing. But Pittsburgh with a new coach, Wannstedt, and the Syracuse with Robinson as a new coach. So much hope, so much expectation, and things just didn't go well for Pittsburgh, and things are not going well, at least offensively, for the new offense here with the Orange.
Syracuse in this game has been held without a first down on 11 of their 16 possessions. They need another one here on third. Patterson's in trouble. Lorello's got him. The Bandit just may have stolen the last chance that Syracuse had.
Well, he's just too quick for the offensive lineman. And our question at the beginning of the game about Patterson and the change of offenses, could he handle it? And I don't think it's just him. I think it's, like I've said during the game, it's the whole offensive scheme. It's the quarterback coach, it's the line coach, it's the offensive coordinator, the whole offensive staff, and the whole staff in general. Just coming in and putting together a new offense, it just can't be done overnight with the players that they had last year. If you draft now, if you drafted some players, first draft pick, I'd take Leinart, you know.
Yep.
I'd have him as my quarterback.
Don't get to do that.
No, you don't get to do that.
Brandon Carney's punt out of bounds over at about the 25-yard line, beg your pardon. We're under 2 minutes. And West Virginia with an 8-point lead and a chance to just ice this away and start their season 1-0 in the Big East and beat Syracuse for the 4th straight time. No coach has ever done that. Our players of the game, our Chevrolet players of the game, that guy, Adam Bednarik, really tough on the ground today and doing a good job running the show. And Anthony Smith, 4 tackles, couple of fumble recoveries, and forced to fumble as well defensively, number 20 for the Orange of Syracuse. Our congratulations to those 2 young fellas. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 donation to each university's general scholarship fund on their behalf. Syracuse takes time out here as we're down to 1:51. West Virginia schedule-wise, they have Wofford at home next week. And then on September 17th, they'll be at Maryland against Ralph Region's group. Their big matchup, at least one of them that they always talk about, will be against Virginia Tech, October 1st.
Got that one at home?
Circle that one.
Their big games in the conference in the Big East, they've got both Louisville and Pittsburgh at home.
Yep, and that'll help them. We want to welcome everybody, the men and women in uniform serving around the world that have been watching today's game on Armed Forces Network. Thanks for all that you do for us. We hope you've enjoyed the game. I guess if you're from the West Virginia area, you've enjoyed it more than if you were from upstate New York here. Swanee?
Oh, there are a lot of guys from West Virginia who have friends and relatives who are serving overseas, and a couple here from Syracuse. And I want to give a special shout out to the 172nd Stryker Brigade. I met a lot of the men and women who were deployed over in Iraq when I was up at Fort Wainwright in Fairbanks, Alaska in August, and so I want to wish them well. Everybody's praying for you, and we're behind you 100%.
Very nice. We talked about some of the family members that are in the military overseas. Some of the players from West Virginia.
And then there's an Anthony Michael Killington who's in the Marines. He's over in Afghanistan, and his brother is over here on the sidelines with the medical staff for Syracuse, so didn't want to leave him out.
We're down to no timeouts remaining for Syracuse and 1:42 left, but it is a 3rd down situation. If West Virginia can get a first down, it should be academic, but 3rd downs have not been easy for either team today, that's for sure. And Syracuse defense has been out there a lot today.
And what Syracuse and Greg Robinson is hoping for, obviously, there's been a bunch of turnovers. The ball's been on the ground a lot. West Virginia's fumbled it a lot. If the Orange could pick one of those up and run it in, get a 2-point conversion, this game is tied.
Again, Gwaltney, the freshman tailback, is behind Bednarik on 3rd and 4. Bednarik's been the best ball carrier of anybody today. Gives it off to the freshman, though, and he didn't get the first down. He got close. Tripped up. Got about a yard short out to the 34-yard line. Well, we've got a quick moment. Let's check in with John in New York.
Well, Brad, Louisville is starting to pull away from arch rival Kentucky. Michael Bush from 11 yards out just bowls his way into the end zone. They've added another touchdown. So number 12 Louisville leading Kentucky 28-7. As you can see, they have not reached halftime. Brad, back to you.
Cardinals, Bobby Petrino's group, pretty impressive. They were last year, and looks like they're getting a good start this year. They're a new member of this conference, and a lot of people think maybe they've got the wherewithal to become the champion of this conference in their first time in. West Virginia takes a timeout with 57 seconds remaining. And West Virginia leading by a score of 15-7 tonight. ESPN2 back on campus, presented by State Farm, and then it's going to be Virginia Tech and North Carolina State, and it'll be not necessarily the debut of Marcus Vick, Michael's little brother, but his first time back after missing last year. In the previous year, he got some duty in there with Brian Randall, but
that should be a good test for him down at NC State,
where they got a heck of a defense.
That good defense. That's right.
That's tonight on ESPN2.
Bob and Brad, I just want to lob in an opinion here. You know, this has been a tough game for Syracuse with Greg Robinson wanting to put in the West Coast offense, but a lot of this has to do with the talent you inherit. He inherited option football talent and not West Coast talent, especially when you look at Charlie Weiss and what he did at Notre Dame. He inherited West Coast offense talent from Tyrone Willingham. There's a big change and a big difference.
And Coach McPherson, who you saw in the broadcast booth, had that same type of approach, and Paul Pasqualoni for 14 years running that offense. So a lot of changes, a lot of enthusiasm, and the only problem was just not a lot of consistent execution of anything today by Syracuse.
I think that you can compare it most likely to Nebraska. Nebraska was an option offense, and then Bill Callahan came in from the Oakland Raiders with the same type of players and had some success with it, but not a lot. They ended up being, what, 5-6 last year?
Yep.
And so it's going to take a little while.
So now Syracuse does have the ball back. 48 seconds. It would take somewhat of a miracle, but just because West Virginia couldn't pick up that third down conversion a moment ago, it still breathes a little bit of life into the orange. 3 wide outs to the near side, 1 to the far. Patterson trying to wait, throws it deep out, incomplete. And it was intended for Bruce Williams, another freshman. Now down to 41 seconds and 3 more tries unless they can move the change. But Narek played very, very well today.
Yeah, he waited around for 3 years, finally got his opportunity to play, and did a very nice job.
Happy so far, but there's that much time left. 3 wideouts in there, Beadle, Lane, and Moss. The quick slants. Beadle caught it. Almost got outside that defensive back, and boy.
And just as it sounds, Beadle is quick.
Yes, he is.
If he could have broke that tackle, he may have had a foot race with some of those defensive backs to the end zone.
Long play of the game for Syracuse. Patterson now looks one way, comes back across the middle, and that ain't going to do it. Damian Rhodes in the middle because they're out of timeouts. And the clock winds down. Third round coverage. Deutsche Bank Championship. Don't forget, golf follows us. 15 seconds and counting. Patterson back in trouble. Just lobs one out there, and it's incomplete. He was maybe in the grass, but now a flag flies in. As it looked like that play could have been over before he threw. He was not outside the tackle pocket. Outside the pocket, outside the tackle area.
Third down.
And so they lose it down. They back it up, and 9 seconds remaining. So the Greg Robinson era, after waiting 30 years to become a head coach, Doesn't appear it's going to be a successful one, barring a miracle right here.
Said he had some calls this week from Dick Vermeil and
Mike White, Pete Carroll, all those guys.
All the guys that he's been with and others.
Patterson will be the last play right here. And it's incomplete. It's 3 seconds left. So we got 1 play left. Barring a touchdown, it's over. 4th down and 13. 15-7. West Virginia clinging, and they'll be happy. They're not going to be happy that it wasn't pretty. They're going to be happy that they turned it over 5 times and could still win a ball game on the road.
You know, they're throwing it to the outside, and that's not where you're going to get the big yardage. You need a touchdown here. You need to throw it inside. The last 2 or 3 plays should have gone inside, and then first down, stop the clock. Get up there and then down the ball.
They either need a prayer answered here or they need a hook and ladder, something. Maybe won't get the pass off. I don't know if they will or not. Now he goes deep. Patterson. Everybody out there. Knocked down, and it's over. West Virginia knocks it away. And the game comes to a close amid a light chorus of boos. West Virginia wins it. Final score 15-7. ABC Sports is online at ESPN.com. Search ABC Sports. Don't forget PGA Tour. Deutsche Bank Championship 3rd round coverage is next on ABC. Right now, for Bob Greasy and Lynn Swan, I'm Brad Nessler saying so long from Syracuse. Once again, the final score. Mountaineers of West Virginia from Morgantown on the road win it 15-7 over the Orange of Syracuse. West Virginia 1-0 in the Big East with an 8-point win. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports Championship Television.